It's really very easy. It depends on your camera angle, right? You look down and you have something close, it can appear below the horizon.
It's an auto level,
The
Gary.
point is, there's
Auto
no
level.
point.
What angle is it
There's
at?
no point. Oh, come on, Bev. You mean when you're walking down to the beachfront down a hill? That's not you going down. And this is besides the point. You said that no one had ever said anything to you on the matter when you've been on a stream to talk about it.
Man, you're
Again, my point was
Said nobody's got an explanation, Gary, and you've proved that by not giving us your explanation of what happened.
What? You walking down a hill, appearing below the horizon, below eye level. There's nothing special, Bev.
The water behind us, the true horizon, was the water level, the horizon. Right now, I walked down a beach. I was above the horizon, and then I carried on walking, and I was under
let him finish
the
his sentence,
horizon.
dude.
You've been begging for me to say something, and now I'm saying it. I have to be blotted out.
Just so you know.
Go on another hill, Bev.
Go ahead,
the height above sea level?
Bev, explain it. Tell him again. The horizon is the water. Water.
And Bev is walking down the hill to the beachfront.
And
He is below.
water goes above my head. How does that happen,
Because you're
Gary?
walking down a hill.
I have enough confidence in the things that I know. I have enough wisdom to see the logic will be shown. I got one chance to show you what I got. I got one chance to show I'm confident or not. Self-evident reason, deductions and conclusions, and the fools are running away. It's not what you say, it's only what you can prove. You better watch your step, you better mind your P's and Q's. You got one chance, show me what you got. You got one chance, show you confident or not. Don't get caught in a matrix of all of these fakers. Society spinning, and I'm just here living on the ground. Self-evident reason, deductions and conclusions, logically thinking, and the fools are running away. You're flipping over backwards to show me where you think you are. Your model dictates that you never see too far. Shrinking in the distance, you can do fuck all with an angle, and the fools are running away.
Especially when you take multiple photos and stack them like Soundly did, and there's compressed perspective taking effect.
Let's focus on the simple question that it still seems like it's not being answered, because is it the same distance above water the whole way?
I answered it like 5 times.
Yeah, I know,
yes,
but then you just said it's both.
16 feet. I also said
okay, if it's 16 feet the whole way, then it's gradually changing the whole way then.
What about right at the
Optical
shoreline?
effect, an illusion.
Relax, Rocky. What about at the shoreline, right where the water meets the land? 16 feet above there too?
No, there's a levee there. It goes into the levee kind of, and down to the street level, which is almost
Like,
below
when
sea
did-
level.
When does it start, gradually going down to meet the land? Or does
About
it
a
not do
quarter
that?
mile. Yeah, it does that. You can see it from the side. I have pictures of it. The
so-
Marriott Hotel is right there.
Okay. So this isn't a shocker that you can get an exaggerated curve if the bridge actually is curving a little bit.
Especially
You
at
said
that
a quarter
angle.
mile.
Yeah,
A
but
quarter
you
of a
can't-
mile, not a quarter of the
You
bridge.
can't. Yeah, but you can't see the end of the bridge from where Rocky is taking his photo. You can't see the beginning
That's
or the
not
end
my
of the.
photo.
Okay, whatever. I'm just saying in general. But real quick, Kosho, I put in the general a video that I break down this refraction in these observations on Pontchartrain. So I would appreciate it if you would just consider that.
Yeah, I'll check it out.
Also, we know that. Go ahead. Also,
I'll check it out.
all right. We know that light, the way the sunlight hits objects, or any light hits objects, it can make a straight line appear to curve. Like, that little red and black level they put on a table, and then take the horizon pit photo up against that. When they compress it, you can see how what should be straight lines, the way the angle of the sun's hitting them, it makes them appear to bend.
Yeah, I'd like to hear more about this exaggerated looming from Kosho. Sounds
And
intriguing.
no one said that but you, dude. No one said that but you. So once again, what Soundly had done here to exaggerate these like the humps, you can tell that the humps are exaggerated because those humps exist there. But when you view things at that angle and then you compress them, it makes anything that's humped or curved exaggerate. That's exactly why he did that, because he wanted
So the
if there
curve-
was a curve at the end of the bridge, he wanted to show to show that effect exaggerated. It would have been impossible
Kosho,
to
for
take this
some
picture
clarity.
without you doing that effect. So,
Just
and
some
it would also have been
clarity, please,
impossible to take
Kosho.
that picture unless there was an actual curve there.
Okay, I get it, but you're saying there's an actual curve. It's being exaggerated. Is that what you're saying by looming? Exaggerated
That's
looming.
exactly right. If there wasn't a curve,
Okay.
there would be nothing to exaggerate. The fact
Okay.
that there's an exaggerated curve tells you that there's a curve.
Thank you. Clarified.
No, I wouldn't say that, Kosho, because we can take straight lines and make them curve just based on where the sunlight angle hits it. So,
Do you think that's
Why
what
would you
Soundly
say
did
that?
here?
is the sunlight hitting the bridge?
Is it doing that effect that you just said?
If it's that could give it the appearance of curve. Especially, I don't know what the stacking thing Rocky keeps bringing up. I feel like it's important, the stacking thing, and whatever other.
Yeah, it's equivalent to taking a pool stick and looking at it straight on. When you want to see
Yeah,
if it's
but why
curved
would
or
you
not.
take?
No, it's
Yeah,
not. The pool stick isn't 24 miles over water.
Yeah, it's the
Piss
same
off with your
principle, though,
analogy.
Jeremy.
No, it's not.
It's
That's
the
a
same.
lie.
It's the same principle, Jeremy. That's the reason why you look at it straight
No,
on
it
is to exaggerate
not.
any
That is a
curve
lie.
that's there.
Put
Exactly why
a
you do that.
pool stick over water 24 miles and view it from that angle under certain conditions and see what it does, and then come back to me, you liar.
Yeah, Jeremy, I'm sorry that this guy doesn't understand much, but the principle is exactly
Don't
the
tell
same.
me how I don't understand.
The reason why you look
That
at it
makes
straight
me
on.
upset.
That's
You
exactly
don't
Hold on,
make me
hold on,
upset.
Rocky. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not an analogous when you take a pool stick that's 8 feet long in a room and say it's going to be the same thing as a 24-mile long bridge over turbulent air and water. Some of the
Yeah, it's
most
pretty
turbulent air on earth. New
Your analogy
Orleans.
sucks. Your analogy.
Yeah,
sucks.
Jeremy. No, Jeremy. That's the problem with. I wouldn't side with Rakia,
The
who
problem
thinks my
is you
analogy
say
has
we
something to
don't
do with the
understand.
atmosphere. No one's talking about the atmosphere. We're
Well,
talking
you
about
should
why
be,
the
because that's
compression,
where the bridge
why the
is.
compression is used.
Hold on,
It's
Rocky.
You
used
should be
so that
talking
you can
about it.
exaggerate any curves in something. If you look at it at a different angle, like perpendicular, you're not going to have those curves. You're going to have the least amount of exaggerated curves. When you compress it and you look at it and you turn it to what's close to straight in front of you, the closer to 90 degrees in front of you
Better
you get
for
it,
us.
the more exaggerated it's going to look like. And if you compress it, you'll be able to see more of the picture.
Yeah,
That's all
because
he's
of the
doing.
lens, too.
It's not trickery or anything like that. It's just exaggerating any
forget,
curve that would exist there.
This was taken with a
No.
lens, right, through double pane glass.
Hold on, Rocky. Was this picture compressed? Is this a compressed picture of the bridge?
Yes, it has to be. It's 24 miles
Oh.
long.
And Soundly actually compressed, like he took a picture and then did something to compress it, like they do with that red and black level line in front of the
It's
horizon.
not a picture. It's multiple photos from a hotel room through double pane glass at dusk at that angle. You think
There's
this
a lot
is a
of-
coincidence?
No.
It's ridiculous.
I've been up and down
Little
this thing
pool
with Soundly.
stick. And then we got Kosho here to tell us it's the same thing as a pool stick.
It's the same principle. It's the same principle.
You're
That's what
full
I'm
of
saying. That's
shit.
why I don't talk about. Listen to me. Don't address me anymore. I'm not going to respond to you. You're a
Just sit
fucking old man
elsewhere.
jackass.
Yeah,
I didn't
there
say
you
like
go.
you're
gotta
just going to
resort that.
rearrange the words I say and make it sound like I'm saying
Everybody
something
hear
totally
that,
different.
right?
I didn't say
Everybody
this
hear
thing is a
that.
pool stick. I'm explaining the principle of perspective
How
compression of
young
germ.
do I have
That's what
to
I'm
be to
doing.
know your
Don't
pool
speak to
stick
me anymore. I will
bullshit?
not respond
Yes,
to you. I'm
okay.
turning you down
That's
as
fine.
far as
Go
I
on
can
mute.
turn you down.
Yeah,
I won't
turn
be
me
able to
down.
hear you.
Go back to gyms where you're needed. They love
on, no.
deceivers over there.
Don't go
Thrive
back
on
to
it.
All right, let's
what
move
about
on.
the
Can we
fact-
move on?
Yeah, we
what
can
about-
move on. Let's talk about the atmospheric conditions that bridge is being photoed in and stack multiple photos being
Yeah.
post-production to make it look like a curve. It's
Hold
got
on, Rocky.
hot and cold water mixing from Lake Pontchartrain is a shallow lake, which is usually warm, and it has cold water from the Mississippi Basin dumping into it from the west side, which is where he takes the picture of the power line on that interstate. There's railroad tracks right there and another power line that he fails to take pictures of because they're horizontal. At that angle, you wouldn't
Yeah, they
show
are.
curve.
Yeah, they are.
And
It's amazing.
also, when that cold and hot water mixes, it creates a turbulent air pocket above the layer. Also, you got fresh water dumping into brackish water, which also causes an effect. You got a major airport and about 9,000 refineries right there in a 50 square mile radius, which makes the air turbulent. I don't know how else to go on to say this is possibly the worst place to take a long distance shot over water, low to the water, as Kosho says you can't do, but then says it's Earth curve when Soundly does it. Piss off.
That seems like
Double
That
speaking
seems like
at its
a good-
finest.
hold on, guys. That
Can I
seems
jump
like
in
at
for a
this
second?
point. This seems like the worst. Good morning. This seems like the
Good
worst
morning.
possible place. Go ahead, Rags.
I just got a question. I mean, obviously, there's a lot of tension going on over this photo, and obviously, we know atmospheric conditions can cause all kinds of things occurring. Now, couldn't you can also determine if a pull stick is straight or not by laying it on a straight edge, like either a level straight edge or just some kind of T-square straight edge, and you can determine that. Why don't they do some kind of perpendicular shot with a straight edge to determine if there's curvature over that bridge? Why not do that?
Yeah, wouldn't you be able to take a photo of the bridge from side on, left to right? Like you could take a picture of the pool stick side on and see if it was curved, right? If you had it angled the right way, up and down. If the curve was up and down.
You had a straight edge that you can measure against.
Yeah, you know what I like to do with my pool cues if I go to a bar or whatever and I have to use a pool cue that's there, I actually lay it on the table and roll it, and if it wobbles, I don't use it. We should just be able to wobble the bridge, roll it over a few times to see if it wobbles.
Do the
bad
wobble,
idea
do the
with those
wobble, do the
concrete-
wobble dance. Do the
Somebody
wobble,
drove
do the
over it
wobble,
and got
do the
3
wobble dance.
coplanar points.
Yeah, I think that was Jesse. Thank you, Jesse.
Thanks.
Yeah, Rakia brings up this great point because when I went out to Pontchartrain and took photographs of these power lines for the first time, I looked to my right and saw another stretch of power lines running
Yeah, not quite 90 degrees, but almost.
almost 90 degrees. So I was like, that's really interesting. Why don't I see those? So what I did was I went to Treasure Island, which is the casino right where those power lines begin. And they've got at least 10 miles. There is absolutely no curvature. Okay.
Yeah, from either spot.
From either side. Now, what you have to consider then is you have to consider the picture that Soundly brings of the power lines and say, how far is it till those power lines curve? If it's less than 10 miles, less than 10 miles, then what happens to the curve when I show you another power line stretch more than 10 miles and there's no curvature?
Plus his viewer height is about 19 feet. He fails
Right,
to mention
you know-
that. He's on top of the interstate when he takes the photo.
Yeah, this seems like the worst place in the world to take a long-range observation from all those
Yeah.
descriptions you made earlier.
Just notice the angle he's taking it from about 19 feet viewer height on top of the bridge, the interstate, and the power lines are about 18 miles long. You're telling me it's going to curve like that? No, sir. Sorry.
Now does this area of water and area here, does this get like lots of inversions in the temperature or something? Like what happens when the water, cold water, and the hot water?
Absolutely. The pictures I just posted, Jeremy, are 6 days apart. The only difference was that we had a heavy rainfall right before the one that's all distorted. It dumped a lot of cold water into the warm water, and it refracted the bridge all to hell from about 6 miles away. I went back 6 days later and took basically the same shots from either side of the bridge, and it's flat, straight. It's just perspective, right? Totally
I
different.
also feel like if you were to go side on the bridge right there, you should be able to see that curve. Like, you know what I mean? Go 90 degrees from it out, and you would see a curve. No, or is that not what we see?
It would be much harder, man. That's why it makes more sense to do it the long way.
Soundly says with 2020
You can
vision,
see it,
you
but you'd
can
have
see
to
the
compress it
curve
by
of the
much more.
bridge, curve of the earth from the bridge, and then when you go side onto it, you can see left to right curvature. He's the only one in the world that claims that.
I mean, because if you take a pool stick in a bar and you were to, let's say you didn't have something straight and you could just take a picture of it. If you had the curve going the right way, like, you know, the lowest part down and then it gets higher and higher and then it gets lower. If you had that angled right and you took a picture of it, you would be able to see the curve in that, right? The pool stick?
It would be, as possible as that would be, it would be that much easier if you viewed it at a more increased angle. But it's very possible that...
Could you see and we don't see that with these power lines or bridges and shit, though.
Well, no, but you would need to compress the picture by a lot, just like you said in that one horizon picture with the red color or whatever.
Well, I would need to compress the pool stick to see the curve.
So compress that picture, the left to right picture, because you wouldn't really, you wouldn't be able to discern.
Take a left to right picture of the pool stick. Do I need to compress that to see the curve, or would I just be able to see it?
Yeah, I mean, you're not really going to get a good look by just looking at left to right, unless you're comparing it to something. If you compare it to maybe a straight line on the wall or something.
Yeah, I got to put a straight edge up to the screen, and I would be able to see that the pool stick is curved without compressing it. Without compressing it, yeah.
Yeah, what lens is not going? If you take a picture with any camera, Coach, if you're gonna have me turn down.
Like I said, compression is not going to create a curve. It's just going to exaggerate.
Him having me turn down.
Rocky, hold on. The compression does create a curve. We've seen it with the red and black line thing. Those red and black lines are curving. Yes.
Yeah, they're curving because it's exaggerating the curve. It's not creating
the red and black lines that are where the sunlight hits them.
The one where there's a level.
I pointed this out multiple times to you crackheads. Sorry, but you just ignore it.
How do you eliminate the possibility that the camera is causing the curvature of the line? Please tell me how to get rid of that.
You take multiple pictures of that same observation from the same location and the same zoom.
I've actually had you guys argue that those lines are straight. The red and black lines in that was one of the things that triggered me out of gems last time.
Yeah, Jeremy, why'd you derail us real quick? So
my bad.
How is that answer for you? Is that okay?
That's okay. I just don't. I mean, even those multiple shots though, could there still be lens distortion at some level with all of them?
Well, let's say for instance,
of course.
I would say that there would be a consistent image in the photograph that is exclusively due to the lens. So even if the image itself out in the real world is affected by refraction and changes that way, if your lens is consistently making something change in it, each photograph is going to have that same exact imprint, regardless of what the photograph does.
Here's the
And
trouble,
I-
though,
I-
Travis. Sorry.
What?
Here's the trouble that I'm thinking of. Let's say your lens is causing it to be curved, but the conditions are making it appear convex. It kind of equals out, and when you compress that, it does some weird things, especially right above and right below the center point. I don't think you can really know. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't think you can know what if it's lens or if it's the atmosphere doing it. It's definitely a combination of both.
Well, you could at some point have something that is, that is straight, like a level or a T-square or something that is level, and you take a picture of that with a camera, and then you compress that image, then you would know if it's the camera, right?
That's
what Jeremy's talking about.
That's what I'm talking about. I wasn't derailing the conversation, Travis.
Yeah, Jeremy's right.
When
Whoa,
you start compressing shit, when you start compressing shit, they have a picture of a ruler. I've seen one in 24/7. In Gems, they use that red and black compressed image of up against the horizon. When you start compressing shit, you start getting straight lines curving. So
that's because of the lens. Every lens is going to be distorted, especially on the edges. Wide angle lenses are going to be different, but that also depends on the angle you're using. But when you compress it, it's going to exaggerate that to hell and back.
So that being said, it seems like, and this is from my experience of been in this conversation for I don't know how long now, any optical measurement of any kind is going to have problems. And it's not going to be accurate.
No doubt. 100%.
Okay.
We need something tangible. I feel like that's where you were trying to get at, no?
You got to physically measure it.
Hey, is that Paul?
Yep, it is.
Hey, Paul, what's going on, man?
Hey, man, I ain't talked to you guys in a while.
I didn't know you were here, Paul. I'd have kept calm earlier. We were letting loose.
That's okay. That's okay. I mean, I like this conversation because I don't think it's like I have to agree with Coach on one level. Any observation at best is inconclusive because if you're using optics because of the nature of the eye, the nature of the camera, the nature of the atmospheric conditions, unless you have all variables accounted for, at best, it's inconclusive. That's all you can count on.
How do we build buildings? How do we build large structures then? How do surveyors do their job?
What'd you say? Your mic's messed up.
Shit.
Yeah, whoever just spoke
Anyway.
up asking about surveyors and construction, you want to repeat your question, or were you just being facetious?
Mic check.
Yeah, you're a little bit low, but
What the hell?
no, it sounds like you're whispering on
It
purpose.
sounds like you're trying to be somebody else. But anyway, when we survey on short distances, shoot horizontals, we can create benchmarks. We can create a horizontal and then come
I
back
think
a
what he
year
asked is
later.
how do surveyors do their job then?
Kosho, if you're going to turn me down, man, you can't. You got to leave. Screw that. You don't want to be a part of my conversation. Just leave,
I
man.
think he heard you and he talked over you on purpose.
Maybe so. That makes sense
Me?
too.
I didn't hear anybody talking. My bad.
Yeah, because you had me turned
Yeah,
down.
turn Rakia up.
No, I won't do that.
talking.
I won't do that. I'll just look at the
Then he
screen and
should
see
be
when his
muted.
color comes on.
Then he should
I
be
just wasn't looking
muted.
at that point.
Is there mods here?
Yeah, I'll mute you. I'll mute you, Kosho.
Come on,
Yeah.
guys. We don't have to act like fucking children.
Well, he don't have to turn me down, man. Talk all over
Yeah,
me.
but he's
I
talking
know.
over.
I'm
He's
not
talking over
I'm not
Rakia
talking to
because he
just
turned him
one
down.
person. Come on, knock this shit off. Come on.
So I'll,
Like, who the hell are you? Are you the host?
Yeah,
What gives you the right?
yeah.
yeah.
I'm turning
You
it down,
almost-
dude. I don't want to hear his voice. But when he lights up, I won't talk. It's that
I don't
easy.
want to hear your voice,
All
Kosho.
right,
Then how did you
Then
not
turn
see
me
me
down.
lighting up when I was making a calm,
So if you're gonna
precise
do that.
point? And you talked over me
Yeah.
like the last 5 times. You don't see my light? Is my light not working, Kosho? What a liar.
Listen,
Okay,
Coach,
anyway.
just don't. Go ahead, Ryan.
He can see my light. He's just lying. He can't help it, man. But anyway, we can set benchmarks and create a horizontal plane and come back a year later and extend that horizontal plane out as far out as we want in any direction. It doesn't care what's underneath you. It only cares that it's horizontal. That's it. That's what these tools do to any distance. Infinity.
Yeah, I was actually giving Bev a shout out on the show the other night because, I heard the best way to one of the best ways I've ever heard to make an optical line was something I've heard Bev explain, where you get 2 or 3 points out in front of you on your horizontal,
Right.
and then you move forward, and you don't change your plumb or anything. You just sight it off of the the 2 or 3 marks that you got in front of you. You know what I'm talking about? I forget what the name of it.
You're talking about the two
Double
peg
rotting.
test?
Double rotting.
Yeah, I mean
Right.
it's
Darn right.
leapfrogging, double rotting the 2 peg test. You confirm that your accuracy with the 2 peg test, and you can you can leapfrog. You can do all kind of methods. All the methods are to create a horizontal plane.
But the double rotting one, you're not changing your level every time, right? You're just using the sights on the post that you previously made.
Well, it doesn't. But when you move your tool and you sight back to your horizontal line, it may be 2 inches under. So when you sight, whatever, 100 feet or 300 feet in any direction, if you want to keep that same horizontal line, you would have to mark it and then mark 2 inches above to be on the same plane. You see what I'm saying? Like, because you moved your tool is going to be at a different elevation of the land. The land is sloping and has holes and whatever. So when you shoot above your established horizontal or below it, then you have to transfer that to your next mark.
That's what I'm saying. Couldn't you just move your tool, move the auto level forward? Make a horizontal, make a mark at 25, 50, 75, 100, whatever, however far out you can go. That's within limits. Then you just move it to the first mark, and now you just only use the other marks in front of you on the horizontal to make that an even line. You know what I'm saying?
It's really
And
tough
then
to
make
get
another-
it's really tough to get your tool the same exact level, as you're swiveling, as you're turning, or
That would take forever.
well, I mean, it's not necessary to do. I mean, there's other methods. That's if you can do that, that's also establishing a horizontal. The best way to check it is to use a water level. That's what all these tools are based on.
I know, but there's contention in everything we do. They say the water's curving. They say when you move your auto level, you're changing your vertical. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's a contention in everything. I was just trying to figure out a way to not have there not be any contention in the methodology of it.
The only people that have contention with that are these guys on these Discords. People out in the real world, the real surveyors, the real people who just use logic, they don't have contention with this. They know a horizontal plane can be created and extended. They know if you fill water up below it, it's going to come up to that line. And if it doesn't, if it's low in one spot or high in another, then that's where your mistakes were made. The water will tell you every place you made a mistake.
I was just at a house the other day where they were building it right beside a river, and they had to build it 8 feet above the highest flood line. And the guy had to use a benchmark like a mile down the road to work his way down to the house to make sure he was on the right elevation, using horizontal lines to get there.
Yep. Everything here is
That's what they
based
do.
on flood elevation.
Yeah, that's what they do.
What is elevation though?
The very
Changing vertical distance.
the house slab that I'm pouring at this very moment is 1.8 feet above base flood.
So what datum is that referencing?
Yo, why are they building them so close?
Oh,
to
that's
the flood line?
that's Soundly, or who's that? That's Negator. That's Negator.
Gator.
Why the fuck?
I'm sorry. Ricky, you've done pretty big projects too, aren't you? Like at least a couple mile, even some buildings that are really large, like a mile or two.
We've done
Haven't
some buildings that were like half a mile, 3/4 mile. Just did one that was 2,100 feet. We did it in 2 separate sections.
So you would at least, if there's 8 inches per mile squared, you would have at least 8 inches of curvature over a mile, right? So you would detect that. You would think.
Yeah. Shout out to what's the guy who said that the building that he shot was curving. The slab was following the curvature of the earth. Come on, man.
Hold on, I got a follow-up question. If you were to do that, and let's say your shit was, you were doing it like the Glober said, and you're pouring this foundation, and it's level, it's curving level, like the Globers think. Would there be an issue when you're trying to build the walls or the roof or something to that, or like, don't you generally need shit to be square? Or would that not factor in?
Excellent question.
I feel like that was sarcastic.
Yeah, he wouldn't lay the foundation with a curve in it. It would be level.
How would you do
I know,
that?
but let's.
Like, how would that physically be done?
You don't understand how to grade a level surface?
You can use a water level, but what if that's subject to the gravitational field of the Earth? Then your assumption is faulty.
It's not going to not show you level.
What is level,
Can I-
though?
can I-
Which level are you talking about?
Can I say something, Chuck? Well, the thing, if you use the plumb bob or the level that you're talking about, it would have to follow the curvature of the Earth, even in the globe model. So, and Rakia's saying is they don't do that. They can make it flat,
Do they
or
have
they can deal with a grade. Do they have to?
Or they can deal with this tiny amount of
No,
effect over that short distance.
Okay, right, but
Don't
physically,
interrupt. Me and that guy were talking. Don't interrupt. Go ahead, Rags to Riches.
Well, I mean, I'm just speaking from what little I know. I mean, Rakia would be the best one to answer that question, which asked him.
yeah. Okay,
Do you
so
agree that there are grades of accuracy in different applications? Like, for example, if you need to measure the length of a piece of lumber, do you use a micrometer?
Why
Well, I mean, a micrometer. Yeah, you don't use lumber. You use something else.
Right. I mean,
I'm
so
getting a call.
if
Be
you're
right back.
laying like a structure, if you're like building a house, do you need the same level of precision as someone who's building like an aircraft engine?
Yeah, that's Gambino. That's not Negator. That's Gambino right there.
That's not Negator or Gambino.
It's Gambino.
That's a false equivalence anyway.
How is that a false equivalence?
Is it
I'm not
Jeff?
trying to make an
Okay,
equivalent. I'm
you-
trying
you
to
gon-
draw a
you gonna
distinction
level-
between them.
Yeah, I'm trying to ask you a question. So are you trying to level the motor or are you building the motor?
I didn't bring up leveling. I'm just trying to illustrate that there are different levels of precision required depending on the application. So for example, if you're gonna make a slab of concrete and you're trying to discern if it's curved or not over a large distance, do you even have the ability to measure it? And does it matter if it's a quarter inch out of flat?
You can use both measurements if you want to. It's up to you.
There are people that use micrometers and leveling.
Yeah, you can use both methods. If it's up to you how precise you want to be. That's it.
So then you
But
guys have
both
to talk
measure the
about
same
an
way.
application that's not with coarse precision. You have to talk about an application that's not.
And that's up to the person who's building the thing, though.
How about
to
communicating
discern the
vessels?
effect of the curvature of the Earth. I mean,
Oh,
you
I
guys
got a
aren't talking
question on
about
as
things
the-
that are concerned with it. You're talking about these very coarse, crude applications, which we don't care about this effect.
All right, I got a question as to why they would. I got a question as to why they would put a micrometer on top of a water level. Like, why would you ever need something that precise to be curving?
I suppose if you're doing something like LIGO, you would care about that level of precision, but not if you're
No.
building a concrete slab.
No,
But the
guys
water,
use them
but
all
you
the
guys
time.
say the water level is supposed to purposely be curving. So why would you purposely need to be that precise on a curve?
What do you mean the water level is purposely made to be curving?
That's what you guys claim that the water is curving, right?
That's a different statement. You said something about purposely. I don't know what that means.
Yeah. So why would they purposely need that accurate to be that accurate within a micrometer if they're doing a curve?
I don't even know. Can you be more specific?
I don't know. Never mind.
I understand you
There are-
completely, Jeremy. Maybe it's,
there
he
are
just doesn't
people-
want to answer.
There are people that use communicating vessels with micrometers to level things to get them perfectly horizontal.
Yeah, precise instruments. It has to be perfect.
Sure,
Glass
'cause the-
lay and some other stuff.
Because the
Yeah.
water level is the baseline. All
The
tools
most
are based on it.
accurate tool known to man is a water level with micrometers.
But a water level is subject to gravitational forces.
Yeah, but just vertical down, perpendicular to the horizontal.
You
Wait a
lose.
minute, he brought up gravity. What's gravity again? What's that?
Yeah. He
The
can't
attractive
help
force
but to
between
say it.
masses.
You say two
I
masses
mean, if you
tracking
guys,
each other. What's mass?
mass is a property of matter such that it has resistance to acceleration and is subject to interactions with other matter, and thus then there's also this phenomenon where matter attracts other matter. I don't know what else to
So
tell
you're
you.
saying resistance to acceleration attracts one another?
Yeah, that's mass attracting mass.
Resistance to
Resistance
yeah.
to acceleration versus
Measure of
resistance
something's
to
mass, he's
acceleration
saying,
is
is
attracting.
equivalent to a measure of something's inertia, meaning that they're explaining the same thing.
Kosho, you know why y'all
Yeah,
don't believe
right.
bring up
I think
gravity
you just
anymore? This is
Resistance
gonna
to
be a terrible
acceleration
argument.
gives rise to acceleration. Is that what I heard?
Rags. I mean, if you want to have like a full discussion about it, you can't misconstrue the words. And
Well,
it's
you
very
define
important
the
for you. Like,
word.
do you understand? Okay, so do you understand what density is?
You explain it to me. I guess I
How
don't understand it. So go ahead and tell me.
Have
What
you
is
He's
it?
ever
gonna
heard of
give you
density?
some
Have you
complicated
ever
globe
heard of?
bullshit. It's how compact a substance.
Stop interrupting. I'm going to ask this guy if he knows what density is.
Fuck off.
How much substance is in a volume?
Okay, so then mass is the density times the volume. There you go. I use your terms.
So mass. So the density of a substance in a volume attracts other density or causes acceleration. So what you're saying?
If you want to simplify it to those very crude terms, I think there are.
Oh, I didn't know you were down with
reading
relative
it.
density, bro. That's awesome.
Wow, that's
Welcome
awesome. That is good.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Nice work, Paul.
I didn't
You
say
think we
relative
wouldn't
density.
catch it, right?
Did I say relative density anywhere?
He defined mass as density times volume.
And since you
So
got
it-
into density, then you also invoke mass. So I don't know why you're asking what is mass.
And
That's
then
just
invoked
the most idiotic
acceleration
thing I've ever
to
heard of.
describe mass attracting mass.
Yeah, I mean, what's so hard to understand about that? You have magnets. that
Nothing.
attract
We
each
know
other.
you're obfuscating. We know you're full of shit. Thank you.
What is force?
You can.
That's why
assume-
we laughed at you right when you said gravity, because we know the argument's over.
So
You guys
say,
made a
but
real
I just
shit
won.
show out of gravity.
So you say, but you haven't refuted it whatsoever.
Yeah, in your mind.
No, in your mind.
What is force?
No, in yours.
No, you.
How old do you have to be to come in with a voice like that under a different name? Negator?
Is it Negator? I thought it was Gambino, but now I'm
Nah,
not so sure. It's either one of them.
It sounds like
I know exactly who it is, Jeremy. I wouldn't worry about it.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not worried, but
Yeah, it's worried.
He's a cool dude.
Me.
Sounds like it.
Me. I'm Neo. I don't understand.
What is
Anyways,
force?
actually, are you-
He's the one.
I am the one.
Neo.
Him and
What is
Kosher are
force?
pals.
So
They hang out.
Rags, I'm just really confused why you're asking what mass is if you already know what density is. I mean, mass is part of density.
Well, you're the one. Wait. You're the one invoking mass attracting mass. So it's on you, not on me, to define the terms.
Yeah, and I
No.
just did. Mass
He
is
invoked
density times
gravity, so
volume.
you would take the bait, and we would be an hour talking about this BS
God, would you
and
be
get away from
quiet?
the
I'm trying to
subject.
talk to
Why
someone.
he brought in gravity in the first place?
God,
What's
would
the
you shut up?
actual
I'm trying to talk to
property?
someone who actually knows something. God, what's so hard about that? Just shut up.
Yeah,
What's
that's
the
why
actual-
you're here to teach us what you know. Piss
I want to talk to
off.
someone who
See,
actually
this
responds.
guy doesn't know me. For one, he doesn't know me. He's assuming
No, I
things
know.
about me. Okay,
At least you
so go
are
ahead.
capable of responding without interrupting. My God, what's so hard about that?
Well, go ahead.
You guys are very. He answered the question in 3 different ways already.
Yeah, awesome. Let's move on. Let's get back to the subject we were talking about when he brought up gravity.
Well, wait a minute. Now, wait a minute, though. Isn't the new hotness, isn't that bendy space-time, not mass attracting mass? So why are you invoking mass attracting mass?
Because that's the Newtonian understanding, which we use all the time. If you want to include like the more accurate understanding, you can invoke Einsteinian, but the net effect is the same as mass attracts mass. We just have a better understanding. I mean, if you can understand that magnets attract each other, what's so hard about understanding mass attracting each other?
Well, so you're saying basically gravity is magnetism? Is that what you're saying?
No, I'm just saying if you can understand one fundamental interaction, why can't you understand this one?
Okay, first of all, let me ask you a question. If it's Einsteinian is the true way,
Can you
true
answer
understanding.
my question first before we move on?
I understand. I get
If you
it. Just because
understand that magnetism exists, what is the difficulty in understanding that gravity exists?
well, let me make something very clear. First of all, I understand Whether I believe it or not is a different question. I understand the concept. I understand what's been taught. I understand all of that. Whether I believe it or think it's real, that's a different question.
Do you think
So to say I
magnetism
don't
exists?
understand is a wrong assumption.
Well,
From
you have
vertical change of
inconsistent
water
logic.
due to pressure do we have to get before we waste 2 hours?
You really have inconsistent logic here. I mean, are you saying
Go
that
into it. There should be a
magnetism doesn't
gravity
exist?
room. Y'all can go have all the discussion you want about gravity. This is not what we're talking about. You introduce your
Right.
model into what we were talking about. We don't care. We don't care about that.
It's one of the 4 fundamental interactions. I don't
Yeah, we're
understand
talking
why
about
you guys believe
elevation
mag-
change, sir.
I
Surveying,
don't understand.
elevation change, not gravity. Not
So you
bending the
also
space time, not balls attracting balls in a shed while an old man watches them quiver while earthquake happens in Haiti. We're talking about elevation change. Are
okay,
you
clearly
stupid?
this guy has nothing and he's triggered.
Yeah,
So
elevation
somebody else wanna
change.
talk?
That's what the
Welcome to the
subject was.
party.
Horizontal elevation change has nothing to do with gravity, sir. So if y'all want to
If you
spend 2
guys are
hours
gonna invoke the
talking
water
about
levels and plumb
balls
lines,
attract balls in the shed while an old man watches them, go right
if you're
ahead.
talking about water
I don't
level,
think that's what we were talking about.
if you're talking about water level and plumb lines, then we have to.
We're talking about
include the
horizontal, vertical.
If we're with water levels and plumb lines, so we also have to consider the effect of gravity.
Doesn't matter what causes it. What matters is the effect of it being horizontal, not curving.
Well,
Straight.
yes, a horizontal line curve
With
doesn't curve,
elevation change based on that horizontal vertically, which
Hey,
makes
Rocky,
parallel lines.
could you do me a favor? Could you let me know when you're done talking? Because you
Yeah,
kind of take these
I'll
long
tell you when
pauses.
I'm done talking. You'll know prime and proper. Until then, put yourself on mute. We're going to talk
Why are you
about
so
what we were
triggered?
talking about. And I'm not.
I'm
You
trying
asked me to
but you
tell
keep
you. I'm telling you. Yeah, you're
Okay.
interrupting me now. So you want to
But
talk
you
about
take too
horizontal and
long.
vertical, or you want to talk
Yeah,
about
let's
gravity?
talk about that. We have to consider all effects, which includes
Tell
gravity.
us how you create a horizontal plane. Go ahead.
How
That's
you
what
create
the
a
subject
horizontal
was.
plane?
Use your
Like an
gravity.
imaginary
Do
one
whatever you
or a
want.
real one? You want like a physical object or an imaginary plane?
Just make one. Just tell us how you would make a horizontal plane. Go ahead.
Okay, well, you use the Whitworth method to make a surface plate.
Go ahead. Show us. Tell us. No one knows anything about what you're talking about. Go ahead and tell us. Explain. Walk us through
Okay,
it.
all right, I'm going to walk you through it. How do you make a flat surface?
You're asking me a question to walk yourself through your explanation?
I need to establish how much you know so I know where to start.
No, I know nothing. I told you that. Walk us through it. Are you moronic?
Okay, I'm going to walk you through it by getting you to think about it. So how do you make a perfectly flat surface?
I don't. You do. You're going to tell us how. I don't know how. You moron. Tell me.
Okay, I'm not going to talk to this guy anymore.
That's what I thought.
I know that.
See you later.
It is
Let
pretty
us play
ridiculous.
this.
It is
Is
pretty.
there no one else? Is there
is
no
pretty
one else?
ridiculous.
Let me do it. Let me do it. Then tell me. I have no idea how to make a plane. Don't ask me a question because I don't know. So I have no assumptions, no understanding. I'm stupid. So go ahead now. Explain it.
So do you agree that there are flat surfaces like on a
With a question. First thing
manufacturing-
again.
That's important because you have to get someone to think in order
you
to.
agree
Do you not understand what answer a question means, dude? Would you like me to explain it to you?
This. Let me talk to that guy instead of you guys interrupting, okay? So, I mean, how are flat surfaces made, like a carpenter square or something? Like, how are those standard
I
made?
don't
Do you have any
know.
idea?
I'm not a
You don't know?
I don't know. I'm not a carpenter, so I have no idea.
Okay, so I mean, those types of surfaces don't exist in nature, right?
I don't know. You tell me. Do they not exist in nature?
Do you think there are perfectly perpendicular angles for someone to build a carpenter square?
Another question.
You keep asking me questions. I don't know if they're real or not. You tell me.
I need to establish your stance before I can.
You're full of
show
shit.
you
I have no
This is your
stance.
story.
Yeah.
I have
So,
no
okay, so
stance.
you
It
have
doesn't
to
matter what
admit-
my stance is. This is you're the teacher. I'm the student. I'm in your
Okay, so you have
classroom.
to admit.
I don't have any idea
So-
what anything is.
So you have to admit that there aren't perfectly perpendicular angles for which we can make our tools. So we have to make them as humans. And how do you do that? Well, you have to make a flat surface first. And then from a flat surface, you can make 2 perpendicular plates. And the method that this is done, like a granite surface plate, is called the Whitworth method. So this is how I would use the Whitworth method to make a flat surface.
Post
And
it.
I would align that perpendicular to gravity to make it horizontal.
Wait a minute, this Whitworth method. I've never heard of Whitworth and this method. I mean, I have no idea what that is. You're gonna have to break that down even more. So I don't know. I don't have the measurement. I've never seen a written ruler. I've never seen a string. I've never seen a compass. I've never seen any of that stuff.
Oh, great. I'll explain it because this is the foundation of the modern world of manufacturing. So how do you actually make a flat surface? How would you know when it's flat? Well, you have to use mathematics to do it. You take
No, you don't. You just use water.
No, that doesn't work either.
Yeah,
So
you can
that's
use
an
water.
assumption. You have to assume it's flat. That doesn't
No,
work.
no.
There's
You
only
see
one
it in
way to do
nature
it.
every day.
Jin,
hold on.
don't interrupt them. It's right now. It's what is your name?
Rakia.
Paul. No, Paul.
I'm
it's
involved in the
Rakia?
conversation too. Yeah.
All right.
So if you want to make like a solid flat surface, you have to take 3 like cast iron or granite surfaces, and you have to make 3 flat surfaces at a time because you have to establish when all of them are in perfect contact, and the only mathematical surface that can do that is a flat surface. So you rub them together, you find where the points are contacting, and you break off those high points where they're contacting, and you take surface plate A to B, do that. You take B to C, do that, and C to A, and when all 3 are in contact, then you have 3 perfectly flat surfaces. That's how surface.
Can I ask a question?
Gauge blocks.
Wait a minute, though. Hold on a second. I didn't hear any mathematics in that. So you're just talking about contact surfaces and you're talking about shaving something off. I don't hear any math in that.
Mathematically, the only surface where all 3 plates can be in perfect contact is a flat plane.
Now, I've heard this before. I've heard this before, though. I don't know if I'm right or not. Just what I've heard. Mathematics is a description. It's not how you do something. It's describing what something is. Is what I understand. But what you're describing is how you're doing something. Those are 2 different
And it
things.
uses math.
Like,
Yeah, and it uses
okay.
ordinary, simple geometric ideas, which is part of math.
So you're
I mean,
saying
that's irrelevant, though. I mean, if you want to talk about what is math, we'll have that discussion another time. But the important point is, if you only use 2 of their surface plates and you get them in perfect contact together, you can't say that they're flat because they could be convex and concave. So that's why you have to introduce a 3rd plate. And when all 3 plates are in perfect contact, then you know that you have flat surfaces. You want me to link something?
well, wait a minute though. You're still talking about plates. A plate is like something I eat on, or it could be a wood plate, or it could be a metal plate. I still don't hear mathematics in that.
You have a very short definition of plate. I mean, there's other types like a surface plate in metrology, which itself is the science of accurate measurement.
Okay, so you're saying a plate is a mathematical description of something?
No, I didn't say anything like that. I don't know if you really
So what are you
listened to what
saying?
I'm saying.
Well, I'm trying to be
telling you how
clear.
to
I'm
make a
trying to ask
flat
you questions because I don't understand anything, remember?
But yeah, I just explained how to make a flat surface, which was the original question.
So when you talk
Yeah,
about a
I'll
plate,
link it.
is it something real or is it
That was
something
not the
abstract?
original question, by the way. The
Didn't I
original
just
question
say
was
something
how to
about?
establish
Shut
a
up, Rakia.
horizontal plane, not
Shut
by
up. And that
rubbing
was
2 rocks together to make a flat surface.
God. You're
Horizontal
dumb.
plane,
Jesus.
sir. Jesus.
God. Okay, so Rags. Didn't I say something about a plate being made out of cast iron or granite? Did you miss that part?
No, yeah, I guess I did miss that part. But see, you
Yes.
keep talking about mathematics, and that doesn't, a granite, like a metal plate or a granite plate is not mathematics. Those are something solid.
But we use the mathematical ideas to make a flat surface with this method. I don't understand why you're obfuscating.
I'm not obfuscating anything, but you're talking about
Yeah,
mathematical
you are.
ideas, but then okay, no,
You're
don't
being
assume
obtuse.
anything. I'm a student, so you're obfuscating because I'm a student? Wait a minute, what?
You're really intellectually dishonest. Did you know that?
There it is. That's where he has to go.
Oh, so now that's ad hom. So now you're at an ad hom. Okay, thanks.
Loser.
Oh, I'm sorry, Rocky. Didn't you call me a moron? Does that mean you lost?
Yeah, I lost that conversation. Doesn't make it untrue. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
You're being a
Well,
loser.
I didn't lose the
Horizontal
conversation. I
plane.
just taught you all about how to make a flat surface. So you can do it.
Horizontal plane. No one asked about any type of making smooth rocks.
Okay, well, the
Okay,
first thing you have to do is make a flat surface if you want a plane. So I just described how to make a flat surface.
Yep.
And
So
then
now
I
get
would
to the
orient
horizontal
that.
plane.
Okay, yeah, I was going to
You
do
just
that.
interrupted me. Wait, I'm going to answer that question. How about you?
Are
stop
you
interrupting?
okay, Sunshine?
And
You
then,
be all right?
and then I would take that flat plane that I made with the Whitworth method and orient it perpendicular to gravity using a plumb bob or something like that. And then I would have
Orient it.
a small, yeah, right. I mean, that's what we have to do to make a horizontal plane. Right? You have
Over
to
what
get it
distance?
horizontal. This would be a short distance.
Over
It's
what
difficult to make.
distance? Short isn't a distance.
Oh, I'm sorry. You guys never use numbers. Why are you so offended by that?
What distance? I'm asking you. Don't talk about us.
The distance of the surface plate that I just made.
Which is what?
At what
Oh, hold on.
distance?
Can I
You
just
can
say
make
something
them
real
any
quick?
size that you want, but then you have to worry about it flexing due to gravity.
Can you
because
speak
there's
up?
no
You sound like a
surface
little girl. We can barely hear you. Put some
This is
oomph in your
hilarious.
voice.
He sounds like a little girl.
Yeah.
The last thing this guy sounds like is a little girl, man.
But
can't hear
great
him.
Yours is deeper than
input.
yours is, see?
What distance, Kosho? Do you know? Because he won't answer. That's what I thought. He's probably got me muted anyway.
You guys have nothing. Just
Yeah.
obfuscation. When the questions are asked, you buckle.
This
I don't
guy's
look
answering
at
you
it.
guys'
These
questions,
guys
man.
don't look
Oh,
at me.
really? Oh, really? At what distance?
What
The size
distance?
of the
Very
surface plate.
simple.
The size of the surface
It's
plate. It's made
arbitrary,
to
man.
be whatever size.
The
Look,
size of
going
the
on the
surface.
thumbnail.
Speak
Wait a
up,
minute, wait a
son.
minute. He
Speak
was,
up.
he was talking. Everybody took off. Everybody talked over him, but everybody got quiet. He was speaking. Go ahead.
I mean, there's a limitation in the size of a surface plate you can make, but I think they've been made over like
What distance?
little-
What
why
distance?
you're interrupting? Why you're interrupting me?
Hello?
Because you're
Why
not
you're
answering the
interrupting?
question. You're
I
avoiding.
am answering. Your guys talk
No,
over
you're
the
talking about the
answer.
surface of your flat plane that you created with rocks, rubbing them
Isn't that
together.
an answer to the distance?
No.
What
not?
distance?
I'm answering the size of the surface plate. Which
No,
is
you're
several
not
yards.
answering. What size?
You can make a surface plate several yards in size, so you would be limited to that. But you would have to consider the effects of gravity on the surface plate, since no material is perfectly rigid.
There we go.
This
You're
is
a
the
man,
best
bro.
you got,
Thank you.
ballers. You're in trouble, man.
I mean, you guys didn't even know how to make a flat surface first before I came here, so I mean, yeah. I
Yeah,
do
explain
this
to us how a
all the time.
flat
Hold on a
surface works.
second.
Go ahead, sir.
Hold on a second. Well, hold on a second. See, just because we're asking you to explain something and we're acting like we don't know, you made an assumption.
Yeah,
This
exactly.
is
Do you
all
know
your.
what the
This
Whitworth
is your
method is?
claim. Hold on. This is your claim. We're asking you to back your claim. We're asking you to explain it, and all you got right now is ad homs. Really?
No, I just gave you the precise details about how I would do it.
You know what?
You
You would
didn't
check
He's
your
been
flat surface
explaining
you
it
made with.
for the last 10 minutes.
Take a water level with a micrometer on it, and you could measure your flat surface, see how accurate it was. Guess what? Guess what's going to find how inaccurate your flat surface is? Water.
That's an assumption in your mind.
No, that's a fact. It's
No,
over
you're
7
wrong.
yards. You want to dispute that?
Yes, because you only have 2 points, so you can't define a plane by that. That
Put
doesn't
all
work.
your planes together, sir, and put a tub of water and fill it up. Guess where the water levels are going to go?
It's called communicating vessels. You can
Vessels.
hook as many as you want up.
Yep.
That's right.
So if
wait a
you
minute, could
take
you
like 3 points of a communicating vessel, will they all be in a plane? The tops of those water?
Yes.
Yes.
Horizontal, based on
Absolutely.
Let's
hydrostatic
see some proof of this.
equilibrium.
Let's see some proof of this.
Very
Go ahead,
accurate.
guys.
What do you mean proof? They're using it right now.
Show me.
Can I ask
Show
the
me proof
question?
that-
This is.
Look it up.
Let me ask the
No,
question.
you
Though.
do
Couldn't
it. It's
you
your
use?
claim. Your
Oh
claim.
my
I'm not going to do
God.
it for you.
Do
Oh
you
my
even
God.
know what
Can't-
communicating vessels are?
Yes.
Please explain.
It's one vessel of a continuous uninterrupted volume of a liquid. Water is pretty useful.
And what does it
But you have the
accomplish?
meniscus.
What does it accomplish?
You can use it to establish elevation.
You mean a
Horizontal.
level, right?
Horizontal.
Yeah.
A horizontal,
level.
right?
Right.
Okay, over
Yeah,
what distance?
right. Over any distance that you want, I guess. As long as
There you
You
go.
can create a horizontal line with communicating vessel over any distance. Congratulations. Welcome to Flat Earth.
Line.
Welcome to
I
Flat
said
Earth, Bubba.
horizontal. None of this welcomes me to Flat Earth. I don't understand.
No, we agree with you. It creates a
You just said
horizontal
it
line
yourself.
over any distance.
Hold on. Maybe
Water.
he's one of those dudes. Maybe he's one of those dudes that think horizontal curves. That could be the case.
Depends on which horizontal you're talking about.
I got an uneducated question. I got a
Okay,
stupid,
go ahead.
uneducated question. Couldn't you use multiple lines and determine if something is a plane? Like in multiple directions,
more.
X, Y coordinate system? Just if you have an
What
X,
kind
Y
of lines?
direction, it'd have to
It's
be a
not
straight
interrupting,
line
I
for
can't hear
one.
him.
It'd have to be a straight
Absolutely,
line
you
for one.
can. Yes,
How do
absolutely.
you create a perfectly straight line with like a physical object? You can't use a string because that would form a catenary.
Well, if we got
What a
if
plumb
a
bob?
level,
Can you make a straight line with a plumb bob?
What's the thickness of the string that's attached to it?
What?
What's the thickness of the string attached to the plumb line?
Pick a thickness. What does that have to do with it?
Is it zero
rotational
thickness?
line, very taut, very pulled, very straight, very light.
Yeah, let's pick a standard fishing line. You
Okay,
hang it
does
on
that
a
have
plumb
zero
bob.
thickness?
Can you get a straight line from that?
You can get a line of non-zero thickness with some imperfections and deviations. Yeah.
What? So
your
not a
fishing
straight
perfectly
line.
smooth?
So a
I
plumb
think
bob
it
does
depends
not
on.
establish a straight line.
It's probably like the straightest thing you can establish. Yeah, but it's not a line because it doesn't have zero thickness.
What? You're mumbling again, son. What does that mean exactly?
Does anyone else think I'm mumbling?
Zero thickness? Did you say zero thickness?
Hey,
How are you going to have a string with zero thickness?
Yeah.
Do you hear yourself
I
talk?
Can you hear
wouldn't.
me?
Yeah. I
Can you
wouldn't
hear
call
me?
it. I wouldn't call it mumbling, but it sounds like you are intentionally controlling your cadence as to be duplicitous in some level. So yeah, you sound suspicious, sir.
Don't know what
He is thinking ahead of what you guys are gonna say. That's why he
Right. That's how
cannot
you win a
answer straight
contest on the
questions,
radio.
right?
Right. That's
He
how you win
cannot-
a. Right. If you ever want to win a contest on a radio where they say you can't say and or and you have a minute, just talk real slow so that you have enough time to make sure you know what you're gonna say and you're not
Am I
gonna
talking
say
slow?
Yes, you are. Yes.
Am I
Kosho,
talking?
am I talking slow?
Yes, you are.
Kosho.
No.
Is it talking? You said talking low. I mean, he's answering
talking
all the
very
questions
low
you,
and
you
slow.
guys are
Is
asking.
he answering slow?
Yeah, he's.
So back to the plumb bob, if I may, with this guy.
Brandon,
We
where's that?
establish a straight line, right?
Where's
with
that
a plumb
sound
bob.
effect, Brandon?
Let's hear him double talk again. So we establish a straight line. You disagree with that, with a plumb bob?
Yeah, a plumb bob is straight, but you know the wire or whatever you use doesn't have zero thickness.
Okay, so let's go with that. So we take that straight line, right? Now we move it horizontally. Is that line still straight?
Yes.
Now, how far does that line remain straight in your world?
The better question is it parallel to the first one?
Not a better question. My question, the question I asked you. We established a straight line. We made it vertical. How long can we extend that straight vertical line out?
Upwards or horizontally?
Every time you get to this point, man, it's so obvious.
Every time, bro. Every time. Let's say horizontally. How far can we
How is
extend
that-
it horizontally?
How is that a confusing question to you?
It's
Horizontal.
not.
What do you mean
It's
extend
your
it?
turn to
Horizontal?
obfuscate away from the point. It's a very simple question, sir. You can talk as slowly as you want
need
when
to
you answer.
clear. You need to clarify it.
He just did.
I just clarified
You
it.
didn't.
It's a vertical straight line which
You
we
gotta talk over
established
him.
through the plumb bob. Now I'm asking you, how far can we extend this vertical straight line that we established with the plumb bob?
Sounds like you're saying vertically now, not horizontally.
He still won't answer.
You still won't have horizontally.
You have
How
to answer
far
my
can we
question, 'cause
extend
your
it
question is not
horizontally?
clear. Wait, you just said vertically, now you're saying horizontally.
Listen at him.
Yeah, he's
Sorry,
gonna
man.
double speak. Okay, let me
I'm
clarify
not good
once
at this
more.
anymore.
How far can we extend that line horizontally?
You mean move it horizontally? How are you
No,
extending
extend it. That line is straight, right? How far
do you
can we
extend a
extend that
vertical
line?
line
Like to
horizontally? That
redraw
makes no
it. How
sense.
far can we extend it?
How do you extend a vertical line horizontally? What does that
Oh
mean?
my God, this guy is like, there's no hope for you, dude. There's
they're
no
doing it on
hope for you.
Stupid. You guys
It's
are
on
idiots.
purpose. It has to be.
Of course
He's
it's
so
on
smart.
purpose.
He's so smart that he's just telling us.
SE. SE, he needs to know if you mean to move it or if you're saying
Not move it. Let's say to extend it. You don't understand what extend that line is?
No, I do understand what extend means, but you just described a vertical
You
line.
answer,
It's a
Coach.
plumb bob, right?
You go ahead.
You
If you're
extending a
picking up on
plumb
it, Coach,
bob.
go ahead.
It's up and
How
down.
far, Coach?
White knight for him. Go ahead. How far,
No,
Coach?
I'm asking you. I'm confused, man. I'm confused. I'm asking for
Yeah,
him.
I'm confused too. You did say a vertical line and then extend it, or
No, he didn't.
horizontal.
No.
Create
We
a
have a
horizontal
vertical
according
which we
to the vertical.
established with the plumb bob, right?
Yeah,
Then we
which is
took
vertical.
that line and we made it horizontal. It's still a straight line. We confirmed that. My question is, how far can you extend that straight line? Or more importantly, let me get to the crux of it. When does it start bending around your ball, your sphere? How's that?
Still have no idea what you're talking about. You're saying you take a plumb bob and then rotate it
Lay it down.
horizontally?
Here we
What do you
go
mean you don't know
again.
what
You
he's
didn't
talking
understand
about?
what I said, right?
No.
Well, how do you
You
do
don't know
that,
what he's
SE?
talking about.
SE, can you explain how that's done?
What do you mean explain that? We went through it. We
Explain
took
how you
the
get a plumb bob
we
and then
took
lay
the
it down
fishing
flat.
line.
That's a ridiculous question to ask. Coach Joe.
Unbelievable. You hear the double speaking people? This is what
Holy
they do,
shit.
man. This is what they do.
Oh, go ahead, SE. Go ahead and tell me then.
How is he
For
gonna?
sure. You of all people know
Wow.
exactly what I'm talking about, bro.
You get a plumb bob, right? And you hang it with the fishing line, right? You get a plumb line, you hang it. Now you have
And we make a
perfect
straight line, right?
That's perfect. Yeah, and then now you have to turn that straight line and lay it down flat.
Now you take that line, that straight line, right? Which we established is straight. You make it horizontal, right? You can see it now in your head, right? You see a straight line. Yes or no?
I see a plumb bob trying to lay down flat.
Wow. Unbelievable, man. You guys are just.
That's what I'm saying. Maybe you should explain what you're talking about.
It's
It
very
sounds like you're
simple.
saying
You take a plumb bob, you make a straight line. Now you take that straight line and you lay it horizontal. Is this difficult for you?
Are you saying you make a straight line with some other, you're using something else, like drawing it or something like that? Is that what you mean?
No, you go take that straight line, take that fishing line, okay? Now we're going to get really lacquer it, do whatever you want to it, stiffen it up. You have a straight fishing line, okay? Now you take that straight fishing line, which you lacquered, which is straight, and you put it on, you make it horizontal. How far does that line extend? How far can you extend that line?
I mean, if we did
Take
that
the
for a
fishing
foot,
line, it's not going to be straight line anymore when you lay it down.
Yeah, no shit. That's what I'm
Why
saying,
not?
dude.
Why not?
Because
If
you
we
use a
did the
fucking
fishing
string,
line-
dude.
hold on.
It's
If we did the
strange.
fishing line, if we did that for a foot, you'd be pretty certain that if you had a way to stiffen it up, I don't know what you would use, but you would be pretty sure that over a foot it'd still be straight.
Exactly.
No
Now,
matter
how
how
far
much
can we
tension you
extend
put
that
on a
line?
string, it'll form a catenary. No matter how much tension you put on a string.
Yeah. Let me ask you. Would you make it more stiff than maybe a steel rod? Would it be stiffer than a steel rod?
Oh my God!
I'm guessing the answer is
man.
no. It would not be
Okay,
stiffer than a
let's try
steel
this
rod. And
another
guess
way.
what? A
Forget that.
steel rod wouldn't be able to keep its straightness when you lay
You
it
guys
down.
are too dense. Let's do this.
So rulers aren't straight.
We're
In
not
their
talking about a
brain,
foot,
no.
man. We're obviously talking about a longer distance than a foot, man.
Well, I know, but how? That's what he's asking. How long can you go with it? Holy shit, man!
With a physical string?
They know it's devastating. They know they have to say that straight line has to curve eventually. So they can't. It's devastating. It's the killer of their argument. It's game over.
Montreal, you're stupid.
There you go. You see that? That makes me
honestly,
100% sure I'm right.
I feel like Neo is dumbfounded right now, and I am too. I'm surprised that the whole rest of the other people in here aren't for some reason stepping in and saying what the hell's going on. Like, how are you gonna make a plumb bob? How are you gonna lay down a plumb bob, man?
Okay,
Doesn't
man,
make
you're
sense.
too dumb for this. Let me do it another way. You get a plumb bob and you establish a vertical line, correct?
An imaginary line, yes.
Yeah. Now, what's perpendicular to that?
No, well, no. Why is
Would
the
that be a
plumb bob
horizontal
imaginary?
line? Would that be perpendicular to it?
Hold on. Why did this guy say imaginary? Plumb bobs aren't imaginary.
Yeah, because they have
He said
nothing
you
else to say.
extract a vertical line from it. That would
Can
be
we make a
imaginary
real
line
straight
instead.
vertical line in reality?
You can estimate a perfect line from a plumb bob, but you know,
Estimate. Estimate.
right?
You're telling me plumb bobs
delusional,
aren't?
dude.
Hold on, you're telling me plumb bobs aren't straight lines?
Which edge of the wire do you use?
Which edge of the wire? What?
Does the wire have 0 thickness?
It's got thickness, yeah. The wire has thickness.
Listen to this, man. Listen,
So where
this
is
is
the
beautiful.
line defined by the plumb bob wire? Where is it precisely?
Bro, are you saying plumb bobs curve or are they straight?
No, they're straight. But if you're
Okay, then there we go. Holy shit, man! This guy is fucking the best. One of the best blowers I've ever heard with his
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Coach,
Guys, I'm sorry.
We got
I'm
the-
sorry. I sneezed. I sneezed and I accidentally kicked Neo Fair. I'm so sorry. I don't know how it happened, but he's gone.
So back
No,
to the
I don't-
straight. Now we established you can make a straight line. You just admitted it to Jeremy. So how far can you extend that straight line on your globe, fantasy globe? How far can you do it?
If you were to lay it horizontal, you're saying.
Yes, yes. If you were to lay it horizontally.
If you could stiffen it up, say using let's say you could make it, I don't know, make a tube around the thing and then fill the tube with steel or titanium or something. Or, no?
No, well, you don't even have to do that. We can establish a plumb line, then get a perpendicular horizontal line, and we can work with that. I tried to make it simple, but these guys are just not getting it.
Oh, just going off the plumb? How?
Yeah, what is perpendicular to plumb?
Horizontal.
There you go. So you have your plumb bob, then you establish your horizontal, which is a straight line. How far can you extend that?
No, they got a real dilemma when it comes to the plumb lines and shit because
They're screwed, bro. This is game over. This is why they hate Bev. When he points that out to them, it's game over.
They'll say that the water is horizontal at a point.
Exactly where I wanted to bring them.
Yeah,
and then it starts curving at a certain point. That's their fantasy bullshit model.
I know, but you can't have
doesn't work.
horizontal. You can't have horizontal at a point. You need a line for it to be horizontal.
Exactly.
Can I say something?
Horizontal
Jeremy, it creates a horizontal line at that point. It's a horizontal at that point. The line is imaginary.
So just at one point. So how many points do you have on your spear then?
Wait, Kosho, is a line a point?
The point exists. The line is imaginary.
A point exists? How many dimensions? What are its dimensions?
Backwards. Point is undefined. It's nothing. Do you not know your geometry, Kosho?
No, yeah, I do. The point has 0 dimensions. Good question.
Okay, listen.
Exactly.
Okay, listen. A horizontal is not a point. That's why we have definitions.
I didn't say it was, did I?
Yeah, you did.
I said a horizontal is an imaginary line created from a point, and it's only horizontal at that point.
But it's not imaginary.
Not
imaginary.
That imaginary line doesn't exist anywhere else.
Okay, listen. When you say it's only horizontal at that point, you are now defining a line as a point because a line only exists between 2 points.
Oh God.
No, I'm saying the line that's created is imaginary. Okay. You can use like you said, plumb bob to find the horizontal. So you find the horizontal at that point. That it goes on for infinity. It can be an infinitely long line. However, if you move anywhere along that line, that's a new point. Okay, you can't create a line. You can't use a level line. I'm sorry, no. You can't create a level line and have it be horizontal at every point, because every point that you go to is not going to be level. The new point that you get to is not going to be level.
You're struggling, Coach.
That's false. Try again.
That's not false.
Why you cannot admit what he says right, Kosho? Just common sense, bro.
It doesn't.
Who said is right?
What I don't get is it doesn't take.
I'm the one who
away
said it.
your
Why would I say what he said is right?
What he said, the straight line's only between 2 points. Can I have a line?
Yeah.
A point
Yeah,
is not
but,
a line.
yeah,
I
but,
mean,
he
it's common
was
sense.
repeating what I said, but I didn't say that.
Listen to this guy. This is
But
self-restraint.
you're contesting that, isn't it?
No, I'm not. I'm
He
talking
doesn't
about
know
what a
if he is or
horizontal. I'm
not.
talking about how you make horizontal lines. When you use a level or a plumb bob to find a horizontal line, okay, and then you know, you can extend that line out to infinity. You can go along that line and it will be horizontal to that point, but nowhere else along that line will you be able to take a plumb bob and have that be level.
You would
The
extend the
whole
horizontal
line
out
is
to infinity,
horizontal. What do you?
but at a
Exactly,
certain
the whole
point-
line is horizontal, but you won't find another point on that line that is level.
Everyone
That's
listening,
ridiculous,
that is
bro.
wrong.
That is ridiculous.
That's wrong.
Like I never heard anything worse than that, Kosho.
Wow.
No,
This
he's
is
right.
how
never say
far
that
they've
to-
gone. They're trying to curve horizontal lines right here in
You-
front of us.
You would never say that to somebody in public, surely.
He's right, guys. You guys are all wrong.
Yeah, listen
Right.
to this guy. He's right.
I mean, it's 100% right. I mean, I don't even know why you guys are denying
Well,
that.
just admitted y'all
bro.
are trolling.
It's been
Claire,
measured.
go to a
Big
construction
shit.
site and repeat that sentence. See what happens.
Why do you think you can't use total? What do you call those? What were those the level devices?
You
whatever.
don't even know. Just repeat
The
what
light,
you
but the
said.
what was that
You don't
called?
know.
The say again?
Yeah, you'll think of it
Total
here in a minute.
station.
Just
Yeah,
repeat
total
how
station.
hard-
Thank you. Yeah, why can't you use a total station past a certain distance? Even though you can obviously see that distance,
Because
but
there's
you're
an
not meant to
optical
use them
tool
past
in the
certain
atmosphere.
distances for leveling because they're not. It's
I
the
answered you.
Earth's
Do
gonna
you have
curve.
me turned down?
Hold on, no,
Because
because
it's
he
an
he was
optical
still
tool in the
talking, Rocky.
atmosphere.
Let him finish, bro. He didn't hear you because he was still talking. Go ahead, say it again, Kosho or Rocky. Say it again.
Because a total station is an optical tool and you're using it in the atmosphere, which creates a limit of its accuracy. But it's a tool that creates a horizontal line that you can extend to infinity, which you say at a certain point starts to do what? Not be horizontal? Have you lost your mind? Yeah, he's got me turned down.
That's some
I don't have
serious.
Rakia turned down. I'm not gonna be responding to him, man. I'm not gonna talk with people like him, dude. I'm sorry.
I thought you were talking to him. My bad.
No, I didn't say
That was for him. So
Sorry,
he answered
Kosho.
it.
That's pretty
He gave you
childish
the
of you,
reason.
Kosho. For real.
He gave you the reason, though.
Yeah, there's
This
your
is easy
answer.
to settle. Just take communicating vessels with 3 vials of water, 3 readout points, and show me they're in a plane over a large distance. That's all you have to do,
Why would we have to do that for you?
because that would prove your point. That
No,
would
you're
settle it.
saying it doesn't. Why don't you show us that it doesn't?
I didn't say that yet. You guys said it
Mister,
does.
I'm making a claim. You're making a claim that it doesn't, right?
You guys said earlier that they would be in a plane because you need 3 points to define a plane, not just 2. So you have to consider a 3-point communicating vessel and then show me that they're all in a plane. So do you think they would be or wouldn't be?
What do you think?
I think they would not be.
At what point? At what distance? We're back to the same question you wouldn't answer earlier. At what distance would those 3 points not be horizontal, sir?
I'm not going to respond to you until
Yeah, there you go.
That was he asked you very
I-
politely. I mean, why would you not respond to
Why
that?
would you not respond? Why?
He's sitting there yelling at people, dude.
No,
Yeah.
he asked him.
Yeah.
He's
We're
just
not
had a
gonna talk
loud
to you,
voice.
so
What do you
calm
like,
down.
Italian or something,
Yeah,
Rocky?
I'm yelling. This is how I'm talking on Discord in my truck right now. At what
apologize
point
for
would
calling me
those
names
3
before.
communicating vessels that you say create a horizontal plane, at what distance would they not be horizontal? Was that sweet enough for you there, sweetheart?
Stay pretty pleased with a cherry on top.
Yeah.
I don't think that they would be in a plane. Do you think they would?
You just said they would be at a certain distance.
No. So
No,
you guys
you-
said earlier that they would be in a plane.
You're taking
so
a
why didn't you show
mulligan? Okay, you're taking a mulligan. So they're not creating 3 coplanar points is not creating a plane. Is that what you're saying?
that? No. You
Then
presuppose
what is-
that they're coplanar. I'm asking the question if they're coplanar.
You just said that's what they do.
I never said that.
Okay, so that's what they do. Okay, we can create a plane. Do you agree? Using communicating vessels.
He's lying because earlier, about 15 minutes ago,
Yeah, I
we
know.
did say they created a horizontal plane. You could use it at any
I know.
distance, and now the story has changed.
Yeah, I
I
know,
said
but
a
I'm gonna get him to say it again.
horizontal.
Yeah,
I said a
horizontal. That's what a horizontal is. You
Do
can
you
create
think
a
there's
plane.
no? A
Yeah.
plane
Yeah,
is
yeah.
different
The
than a
question
horizontal.
here is, right? 3 points do make a plane, right? 3 points are coplanar. You can't get around that. The question is it horizontal if you use a water level?
Right. Good
Continue. It's a plane though, isn't it?
If you take 3 points of a water level separated by a great distance, will they all lie in a plane that is the same as
Horizontal.
your local horizontal?
What distance are you talking about?
Local horizontal. What's that?
Well,
What's
what
local?
plane
What's your
would you
distance?
draw? Listen. Let's say
Yeah, I'm
that
listening.
I understand you can draw a plane through any 3 points.
I can understand you
But
can
will it
obfuscate
be
forever. I understand that.
why are
But
you
you answered
interrupting?
the
Why are you
question
interrupting? We're talking. Stop
because you're
interrupting.
not answering
Okay,
the question. At
I was talking.
what
There was no question on the table.
distance is local?
That'll
Okay,
be the
so
second
anyway,
time you
back to the
refuse
thing
to
I was
answer this
talking about.
question.
I answered all your questions before. I don't know why you guys are pretending. you
What
didn't.
distance is
Don't be
local?
intellectual. What distance
you-
is local?
If you don't
What are you
answer
talking
that
about?
question, you're a sham.
You
Form
said
of a
local
viable question
horizontal.
first.
Fair enough. You said local horizontal. Fair enough. What is that distance?
Yes.
It's the horizontal defined where you're standing. Right where you're standing.
Goes
What
back to what I
is
said
the
about the single
distance of
point.
the local
When you guys said a point doesn't
horizontal?
exist.
I
Zero.
know y'all
Right where you're
can't
standing.
answer. I'm just
Ocho,
making a
Yeah, I
fun of
could.
y'all.
don't white knight for him. Let him answer.
No, it's the same
You guys
answer
just
I
talked
gave,
over the
dude.
answer.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
not a
it's the
distance.
same answer.
You've given every answer except for distance. Let's put it in feet. How many feet is local horizontal?
0.
Very simple. Go ahead.
0.
So it's
Zero.
zero.
That's an answer. That's good. See you later.
That's good. Yep.
Yeah, thank you. Bye.
Bye.
So do you realize what you just said?
Yes. I answered your question.
I don't think you did.
I don't think you understand anything.
0 feet. That's what he answered.
Yep. 0 feet. Yep.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah.
At what distance in feet does it start not being horizontal?
Never.
Never. It's always horizontal.
Welcome to Flat Earth.
Welcome to Flat Earth.
That doesn't do anything. That welcomes us to
Yo,
the
you
globe.
see that
Sorry.
was?
That has nothing to do with flat Earth. Sorry.
You just
Wait a minute.
admitted it, dude. You just
I'm
said it
confused.
yourself.
I'm
You guys don't
confused.
know what you're saying. Yeah.
If he says 0 when you ask him for feet, that means nothing. So he's not saying anything.
No,
And he says
exactly.
never.
where you're standing. They asked where local horizontal is defined, and I said where you're standing. Therefore, 0 feet, 0 from where you're standing. It's right where you're standing.
A point is not a horizontal line, sir.
That's true, but a line contains an infinite number of points.
Okay, so at what distance is your horizontal line not horizontal?
Never.
Okay, so you back this up?
Oh, wait a
want
minute.
part
So
of
wait a minute. I'm confused again. So if you say it's never horizontal, so it never can be, so there's no such thing as horizontal.
No, that's not what I said. Listen to
You
this
said
question.
never.
Yeah,
At
the
what
question
distance
was not
Is
horizontal.
it not horizontal? And I said never.
So it's never not horizontal, so it is horizontal.
You're saying it's
You guys
horizontal
can't
forever.
think in. You guys can't think in 3
Yeah,
dimensions.
it's
so I'm
about
not
so
surprised that
you're
you
saying
can't
it's horizontal
understand double
forever, then,
negatives.
right? It's not just locally horizontal; it's horizontal forever. Since we
I
can't
feel like we're back. I feel like we're back to the question I asked earlier. Why would you put a micrometer on a water level to be that specific to match Earth curve? Like, in what instance would you specifically need to match Earth curve? So to such a minute, accurate measurement that you need a micrometer.
I'll
You wanna
answer
be at
that.
The same exact gravitational equipotential.
What?
It's
If you wanted
impossible,
to
even
have
on your
2
model,
points to be at the same gravitational potential.
So what you're saying is you can never have a horizontal plane. So you're right.
No, I never said that.
Well, if it's curving, how's it? If there's a curve, then it's not flat. Then it can never be horizontal.
Right. You can't use the Earth as a flat reference because it's not flat.
I hope everyone sees this. I just hope everyone can get this.
This is beautiful. This is beautiful.
It is.
Obfuscating
I got you
that
guys
is
cornered.
Yeah, you got me cornered.
Oh no! Wait, no, wait. He's saying so. If he's saying it's curved, what's his evidence for curvature?
Oh, sure.
Go back to that again. What observations are you making?
We have the entire science of geodesy. We have the horizon drop. We have boats disappearing from the bottom up. We have celestial navigation. We have accurate map making.
Horizon drop is not Earth curve, even in your model.
Yeah, it is.
No, it's not.
And also,
yep.
And also boat. So you wait a minute. You're saying Earth curvature is boats disappearing bottom up. So is that the geometric horizon?
No, you can never see the geometric horizon is a theoretical construct. It doesn't exist in reality.
That don't make.
It would only happen.
Oh, so what is the
horizon does?
Wow, he went OD on it.
Hold on a
They don't
second.
realize how they contradict themselves. It's amazing.
hold on a second.
So you're not like
Oh,
talking
this
over
is-
the guy asking questions.
Go ahead.
The
Paul.
actual physical shape of the Earth is a theoretical concept.
Go ahead, Paul.
And also, he said if it's something you cannot see, then how are boats disappearing bottom up if you cannot see the geometric horizon?
Because you still have a horizon.
What is the horizon?
The horizon is the place where the surface of the Earth appears to meet the sky.
Okay, so appears. Is there any atmospheric conditions that can affect how you see things at the horizon?
Yeah, sure.
Is that
Okay.
horizon? Is that horizon that you're calling an alleged obstruction physical?
Yes, yeah.
But you just said you
You
can't see the
just said
geometric
it
horizon.
doesn't exist.
I said the geometric horizon is a perfect theoretical construct, but the visible
He's got it
horizon is not.
backwards.
Why are you interrupting?
I'm not. You got it backwards.
No, I don't. The
You're just
geometric
repeating
horizon
what
is a
you
perfect
said. You have it
theoretical
backwards.
construct, but the visible horizon obviously is not.
Theoretical, so not actual.
So how do you get a point of tangency?
Hey, sorry, hold that question. Sorry, Don. This is giggles here. This Neo fair. Is anybody else catching on to that?
Yeah, Kosho said it's not. He can vouch for
Yep.
it, so it's okay.
I think you're right.
That's why I'm trying to
I don't know what that means.
Who's
Well, you
Giggle?
do know what that means.
Who's that?
Gambino?
Yeah, this is Gambino.
I thought it was at first, but then I was like, I don't know.
I said Negator,
Um,
but then it changed. But
You think I'm somebody else?
That's why he's
Whoever,
talking
you're
low.
I don't know, bro.
He has the exact cadence. He has the I know the way Gambino thinks and the way he talks. If this isn't Gambino, it's a Gambino clone.
Good call, Brandon.
Who is
they're all
that?
clones. They're all
I
the
could have
same.
swore it was Gambino at first too, but after listening for a while, I mean, I'm not so sure. It could be. I don't know.
Anyone who speaks with
Can we
no
get back to the
passion
topic?
is either trained or psychotic. There's no in
And how-
between. If you
and how
speak with
many does
no
that have?
passion, it means you're not passionate. It means you're either trained and you don't care what you're saying or doing, or you're a psychopath. Which is
When he came in, hold on. When he came in, it sounded like when he came in, he was specifically trying to mask his voice. No, the way
Yeah,
his
oh,
mic
yeah.
was.
he's
Oh, yeah.
loosened up now, though. And there was a point a while ago where he was getting on to me where he really let go. He
It
sounded
might
different.
not be, but I mean, I thought it was at first, so I don't know.
Well,
I
yeah,
don't
yeah.
know what the hell you guys are on about.
Who cares? They're all the
Neo
same.
fair. Let me ask you a question. Okay, so Glover is usually invoke standard refraction 7/6R, right? So we're always seeing an apparent horizon. Yet you guys also say we don't see the point of tangency where the geometric horizon is. So how do boats disappear over that if we always observe refraction?
Because you still have a visible horizon that can obstruct them. It's just a little further out because of
But it's always refracted.
this. Right. It's so they disappear out a little bit further than they would if
But
there were
that
no
they can't.
atmosphere.
So not due to Earth
Hold on.
curvature. So not
Hold
due
on
to
a
Earth
second, though.
curvature.
Hold on a second, though. I think the problem when you start invoking refraction, I mean, obviously, the refraction is the bending of light through different media or different atmospheric conditions. So to determine if it's boats disappearing bottom up or anything else, you would have to know all the variables from the point of observation to the point of the thing you're looking at. Can you give us those details when you say boats disappear bottom up and this Earth's curvature instead of refraction of some kind?
Yeah, just take the weather data. We have standard lapse rates for the atmosphere that have been characterized. I mean,
Oh, wait a minute. So wait a minute. Standard data. So you mean like if I go out, like right now, it's 72 degrees in my current location, but I'm driving. Now, as I'm driving, the air conditions are changing probably like even several degrees probably as I'm moving. Because in one part of the city, it could be 74 degrees. Some parts of the city, it could be 73 degrees. Some parts of the city, 75 degrees. If I put measurements all over the place. So just because you use one overall standard doesn't mean you've actually determined from the point of observation all the pressure and temperature changes from the point of observation to what you're looking at. So you can't use that.
That's not what lapse rate is, though. Lapse rate is the vertical rate of change.
Well, even that's the same problem. If you've got all the data going vertical change, like if you've got your thermometer out at all levels, all the distance, and showing the thermometer and showing every rate of change.
So we know it doesn't have that.
Oh,
Does it
no,
get
it doesn't.
colder or
The
hotter?
atmosphere is
When
very
you
well
watch-
characterized.
As you
Atmosphere is
gain
very well
vertical
characterized.
height, does it get colder or hotter?
And this.
At some heights, it actually gets hotter.
So is hotter more dense or less dense air?
Hotter is less dense.
Which way does light bend again?
Near the surface of the Earth, which is what we're talking about here. It's almost always. It's almost the standard refraction applies. Yeah.
Don't get too
You
excited.
Rosho said you can't use standard refraction close to the surface of water. You have to be 100 feet.
Yeah, he's probably right
100.
about that.
Oh, so you're wrong.
Well, it is.
So you don't use standard refraction close to
the
the
surface of the water.
Rocky, he said even at 100 feet, it's not good over water. I do believe. I mean, I could be wrong.
I
but
thought I heard him now, but I
What?
thought I was hearing him double speak again. I wasn't
Wait, he
sure.
said over 100 feet is still, it doesn't
no,
work?
if you're under 100 feet in elevation, you can't use standard refraction. But then I think he said if you're over water, you still can't use it, even if you are over 100 feet in elevation.
Oh.
No, Coach?
I mean, it's not about can't using it. I wouldn't use it to try and make a fair prediction. I mean, it's just common sense. I mean, it's just common sense. If you're that close to the water and you're that low to the ground, there's going to be all sorts of variables that aren't going to lead to consistent, refractive indexes. So it's like when you're higher up, it becomes much more consistent with any given day. And so it's fair to use something like standard refraction, even if sometimes it might be wrong. But whereas you're lower, it's going to most of the time be wrong.
So what refraction were you guys invoking when Ruhifs tried to say that mountain was hidden like what 1,000 miles or something like that below the curve?
That's a really malformed question. What were we trying to use when Ruhif said something? I think Ruhif might be the one you want to ask. Right?
Okay, is this precise enough? At what altitude, distance vertically, would standard refraction be most accurate? Quantify it. And these are a lot of questions that y'all are struggling with. From a concrete finisher at that.
I'm surely just not responding to you. But, regardless, I mean, I said my piece on the Mount Conagu one. I thought was high enough. I've done it with Felix Baumgartner. I thought that was high enough. The ISS observations, high enough. You just use the distance of the horizon, standard refraction, and bada bing, bada boom. You get the distance that you're seeing. So
it's slow. Bada bing, it's slow.
Bada bing, bada boom.
Bada boom. Yeah.
I mean, I want you guys to really try your best to answer this question. With actual, answer that makes sense. But why do how is that even possible? How is it possible that you can use just the distance of the horizon equation, which you need the size of the globe, and standard refraction, which is the refraction that you guys say doesn't work? How can you consistently use these equations and get a distance to the horizon that actually fits.
Because the mathematical formulas were re-engineered to fit the model.
Because they stole perspective and bada bing, bada boom.
Bada boom, you got your point.
Anybody have an answer that makes sense?
7/6R.
You just got to use the 1, 2, 3 principle. You're good to go.
And also, how did they see, the thing is, I've been thinking about this for quite a while now. How do they validate how the atmosphere works? Like
How refraction works?
No.
They don't validate.
Atmosphere. Okay, more specific. How did you validate how the atmospheric refraction works? How did
Like
you
standard
validate
refraction, for example.
Yeah, standard refraction is not like a claim. Standard refraction is a tool that allows you to. The reason why standard refraction is called standard refraction is used is because it's been found to be consistent. Like it consistently works. So it doesn't matter if it's
used by who,
you know, it's like, once you see that it works, there's no need to prove it. It's just a tool.
Let us know who uses it.
I mean, I used it.
How did you get it? How did you come up with it? Where did they get it?
I didn't come up with it. I don't know. I just know that it works. So I use it and it works.
You say it works, but how did they get it?
I have no idea. I never looked
So
into
wouldn't it be good to know
I saw
how
that it
they got it? Because if they engineered it backwards, as these guys are saying, how would you know it's right? Even if they wouldn't
That
have
would be.
engineered it.
I know it's right because, like I said, I've tested it and used it, and it worked. So that's how I know it's right. I know it works. I use it because it works.
How did you test it?
So if you ask me how do I know if they didn't reverse engineer it? Well, that would be a very extreme claim, which would take some bit of evidence to show that it somehow was reverse engineered. So you just have to show me how that happened, that it was reverse engineered. But without that evidence, I can just be happy that it works.
If I'm going to use something and I'm going to use it to prove something, I'm going to validate what I'm using to make sure it's accurate. And actually, also knowing how it came about, especially if I'm going to use it in my claim. And that's all I'm asking of you, Koso. I don't know.
Yeah, well, we know refractive indexes are usually between 1 and 2, right? And we know that 7 divided by 6 is between 1 and 2. So, I mean, I don't know.
How did you determine the refractive index of the atmosphere is 1? Is that just a value they gave it? They just made it up?
I did not determine the refractive index of the atmosphere. I used standard refraction because I did not know the refractive index of the atmosphere. That's why standard refraction is a tool. That's what the tool is for, is when you do not know the refractive index of the atmosphere. You can use standard refraction in the instances where you're capable of being used. In the instances where I've used it, it's been capable of being used.
If I tell you that the reason the sun comes up in the morning is because of unicorn magic, you can test and try every.
That's in no way analogous. What I'm saying.
It's always
that's not a tool.
Because I created
that's not a tool
that accurately describes and factors in what happens every single day. It's called reverse
engineering. That's not a tool.
And are you ever going to test that?
Yeah, that's not a tool. That's not a tool. But like I said, you'd have to show how standard refraction was reverse engineered. If you were able to tell me every time a supernova, if you're able to tell me every time a supernova occurred from some equation,
Fuzzy.
You were able.
to
predict. If you're able to predict every time a supernova occurred, which is something that is not predictable currently, and you had some way of doing it, I didn't know how you did it, but you just told me you just use this equation with, the date, and that's okay. I just equation it works every time. It doesn't matter. And if somebody claimed that you reverse engineered that, I'd say, oh wow, he did. From what? I just know you reverse engineered it.
No.
It doesn't make sense.
We're pointing out to you where they reverse engineered it so that it makes sense.
Oh yeah, go ahead and do that. Show me how they reverse engineered it.
No.
Hold on, Coach. Let him finish,
bro. Proving to us how it was worked out in the first place, not accept what it was and then say otherwise.
So explain to me how it was reverse engineered, like you said you were going to do.
Okay, hold on a second.
Hijacking perspective. That's it.
That doesn't make sense.
And the only reason I brought up and reverse engineered it was not the point of saying that they did. Okay, just to be clear. Okay, the point I'm asking: how did they come up with standard refraction to begin with? I've tried to look it up and I cannot find it. I just see things where they've already assumed it's already been working. They did whatever, but I never figured out how they determined it to begin with. Okay, so show me the laboratory experiments, which I've looked for, when it comes to purely the atmosphere.
What
That's
form
what
would
I've
you
been
like to see
asking
the
him all
experiment in?
along. What is standard refraction? And they have no answer.
And also,
Do you
here's the
understand
thing:
how much research happens in like a laboratory environment that's documented in books from like the 1800s, 1900s?
Okay, so
Oh, really?
what
So
the
I'll
things
tell
that
you.
hold on a second. Hold on a second.
Can you tell me what the standard refraction is going to be at Montreal on the St. Lawrence River, where I'm going to go tomorrow, please?
Yeah,
Hold on a
probably.
second.
You have to look up the method though.
Before you do that,
Yeah. Fantasy,
okay,
sheer
hold on a second.
fantasy.
Hold on a second. The thing is, I've seen laboratory experiments, and I can do it myself when it comes to glass, water, but I've never seen it for just the atmosphere.
You're gonna
Can
have
you
to do some more
please
research.
post those things? Because I've looked for them and I cannot find them.
Here, Walter.
Oh, I'd
Brisman has
also
a good
like to
write-up
see.
on it.
I'd also like to see temperature. The temperature in these. I never see temperature either, right, Paul?
Refraction experiment.
I'll give them everything.
Yeah, and the
Jeremy, I'll give
refraction
them
experience.
temperature.
You ever seen it? No,
I'll
we're not
give them
giving them
temperature,
because
Jeremy. I'll give them temperature,
you
height,
can't
distance,
give them temperature.
humidity tomorrow. I want them to predict what the standard refraction is
can't.
going to be where I am.
That's not what they're saying
I'll
they're doing,
bet
though.
anybody.
That's not what they're saying they're doing, though. They're saying they're making an observation, taking some atmospheric measurements, or but not with standard refraction. I don't know what they're doing with that. Yeah, you guys.
Yeah,
go
what
ahead.
is standard refraction? They haven't answered. I've been asking all day. What is standard refraction? What is the formula of the standard refraction? Please, anyone.
It's not Snell's law. They can't use Snell's law. They're in a real conundrum when it
Of
comes
course,
to
they have
this
no
refraction
answers,
thing.
bro. They have no answers to this. This is their death nail right here. What is
I've heard
standard
a ton of
refraction?
answers
Go.
to this. Standard refraction is the state of the atmosphere on average. Most of the time, the majority of the time, it changes with weather, but you know it can deviate from the standard average value.
So there is no standard.
No, the standard is what it is on.
You hear the double speak.
I heard
There's
it.
no double speak. I just told you.
I heard it.
I don't think you understand what standard is.
Go ahead. Go ahead. Say it again. Say it again, please.
Tell us how the
Yeah,
standard changes
Standard refraction. Standard. Well, it's a different use of
the
different
word
application,
standard.
but
Yeah.
that's just fine.
Of the word standard, yeah.
Sure. If you call standard like something that's unchanging, like the standard for mass, like the kilogram, and it's a different use from that. I mean, standard refraction is a standard like a industrial standard, right? Like a drawing standard, right? Those can change over time. Depends on what the ASME decides or comes up with. There's committees that do that. But
Committees, come on, Ruhiv. You can do better than that. Come on,
I gotta
bro.
interrupt there. Please quit using the word right like I'm agreeing with you.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Because I don't trust anything you're saying. Right?
That's fine.
It's a very
Right.
sneaky
wrong if you want.
tactic. That is
That's
good
just
catch,
a
Rocket.
tactic.
That's a very sneaky tactic. Yeah, this guy's good. I told you guys. This guy's
Yeah,
good.
this
right.
guy's very good. I think he's Ruhiv. I think this is Ruhiv.
I mean, you guys can stay wrong if you want. That's fine. It's your prerogative.
Yeah, another tactic. Demean your opponent. It's all right. We know. So no
I would like to
distance
know
of
how.
local. So no distance, no numeric distance in feet of local horizontal, or after it becomes non-local and starts curving, which is a horizontal line curving in your model. No distance for that either. No real formula for standard refraction. What else you got for us there, smart guy?
Let's try to clear that up. So if we're talking about a communicating vessel with 3 readout points, tell me what the orientation of the plane would be that you think would fit through those 3 points.
No, I'll tell you what I think right after you
Okay.
give me the distance
You
of
can't.
local horizontal. Fair enough?
We already answered that. I don't know. You
No,
can't answer
you
my
never
question.
gave a
No, you
distance.
didn't.
Steve.
Yeah, I did.
No, you didn't.
Yeah.
Yeah, they said there is no. They said there is no
He
when it
said
comes to
zero.
the water.
Oh, yeah, he did.
Yeah, when
He
it
said
comes to the
zero.
water, they're saying there is no horizontal ever over any distance.
So can you answer my question about the plane since you guys
It's
made that claim?
ridiculous, man.
So you were just moving on from you not answering our questions from an hour ago? No,
I
thank you.
answered them.
No, I don't
See, you
care
just
to
said that I didn't.
entertain you. I think you're a troll. I'm
You're
using
aware-
you for
you're aware-
entertainment.
Wrong as a
You're
troll, I guess.
entertaining me.
Wait, you're aware even if you invoke the index of refraction rate, it will not move the physical bulge that you guys claim, right? You're aware of that. It will not move that. So why can't
They are
we get
not
a
aware of
It'll
that.
distort it.
I'll tell you right now.
I don't think they're aware of that.
Because even heat waves, you even know heat waves, which is an index of refraction across a road, I can still see that physical bulge of that road. It does not relocate it. So why don't we
I don't know
see
if I agree
that?
with that.
You don't know if you agree with that.
Doesn't
Do
it
you
make
drive
it all
often?
like doesn't it make it like shimmer?
Yes,
Change
but it
position up
does
and
not
down?
move the physical location of that bulge. Yeah, it might distort it a little bit, but it does
Yeah,
not
same thing.
relocate that. Okay,
Sure,
same
same
thing.
thing on
So
Earth.
where is
Yeah.
this physical bulge at across water?
Why is it a bulge relative to you as you're standing? Not really. I wouldn't call it that.
What?
Why are you
What?
saying the term
Come on,
bulge?
Ruhif. You can do better than that.
I don't know why you're calling me weird names.
So when
It's
does the
any of
straight
these.
line start bending, Ruhif?
It's any of these persons that you guys are calling him not allowed on this server. Why would he hide his name?
Because they've been embarrassed so many times under one character that they have to switch character.
I mean, but that's just an assumption, right? Isn't it? Well, I'm sorry. Yeah, I don't mean to switch conversation. Go ahead.
Yeah, we're just having a
What's
little fun.
interesting to me? Yeah.
I'm just having a little fun with Ruhif. That's all.
He does sound like Rufus to be fair, but I don't know.
How the hell does he sound like Rufus?
Or Giggles, or
He
Negator,
does.
or Gambino.
There's Giggles to the rescue.
You know, I was just going to make a little observation. I looked at that paper he posted, tried to anyway. To even get access to that paper, you got to pay $350. I think. So I couldn't even look at it if I wanted to. So why didn't you just give me the PDF of that if you already have it? Because I would say if you've done the research, that you probably have that PDF saved somewhere. So you could show the PDF so we could all see it free of charge. Okay, but if I want to go do it, I could pay $350.
Imagine having to charge for information, which you probably paid for through your taxes. That's kind of unreasonable.
Yeah, and usually when I cite a source, I go find the source, I'll post the link, I'll cite the source in the link, and then that way everybody can read it. But just throwing a link at me and saying, "Here, go pay $350 to find it," okay, guess I can go do that if I wanted to.
It's like getting into a NASA building that you paid for with your tax dollar, but they charge you admission.
Yep.
Or they use their engineering technology to create patents using our tax dollars, and then sell
it. Makes the products we buy more expensive because they had to buy the patents off of shit we already funded. Yeah.
And then charge.
I feel you on that.
Yeah, there's a song. There's a song about that. Pay paradise, put up a parking lot. Cut down all the trees, put up a tree museum. Then they charged all the people around $1 just to see them.
All right, my lighter is up.
Right. So what did he?
I got a question.
Did he leave on his own or what? Did he bail?
Yeah, I mean,
I probably left before I banned him. What he'll do is he'll pop in with a sock.
Why is
and then,
papers?
and then he'll leave the server before I ban him, so that he doesn't lose another sock because I banned like 30 socks of his.
Bro, it sounded like
Nice, bro.
It sounded like Gambino heavily. That was my first instinct, but I mean, I don't know. There's definitely a big chance it was him, man.
He was definitely masking his voice, whoever it was.
Gambino,
Yeah.
I promise you, it was Gambino.
I got a question. When he said that the geometric horizon doesn't exist, it's all theoretical. Paul asked them what's blocking the boats and stuff. What was his answer? Did he even answer that?
He
I
said the
think he said
horizon.
refraction.
He said the horizon. Yeah, refract horizon.
Yeah. See,
But,
when they
but he
invoke
said the horizon doesn't exist, though. That's
right,
if
Yeah,
it
but,
doesn't exist, how can it be blocking stuff?
well,
when they invoke,
say
go
whatever they
ahead,
want.
Arakia.
I'm just saying that this is what they do. This is just waste of time, obfuscation, and hoping people will get confused and not want to argue and leave and not get the truth. That's what they're here for. They're deceivers. They're hiding the truth from people by using all their tactics. Simple. Every day. These people are not. You think Kosho is here on his own?
I know that is. I was just telling Brandon, like, the Rumpus, he's suspect number one in my book.
Yeah,
he
me
only
too.
comes for the shows. He only comes for the shows, right? You ever heard him talk outside of a show? Really, maybe here or there, but you know, he only comes for the show. So he's only trying to get out to the most amount of people, all the obfuscation and make us look crazy and shit.
Here's what
gotta
it
say
is.
this
They've
crazy
got
shit.
there's some military, there's some actual intelligence agencies involved, and I think that what they've done also is they've contracted out to former intel or retired military, retired whatever specialty they need to bring in for kind of outside expertise as well. So I think it's a pretty big group, actually, maybe like 25, 30 people at least.
I have heard the Army or some kind of military branch had a team just dedicated to like doing shit online, like shit like that, like influencing people or
We've gone
whatever.
over on the show many times. Yeah.
Isn't it weird when Brenda is the one talking? Usually, Rumpus always show up to defend Brenda.
Oh, Brandon's top 10 flat earthers.
Brenda.
Oh, Brenda.
Yeah, Brenda.
Brenda's a good flat earther with all the dumb shit she says. He makes us look good. I wouldn't be surprised if she was here on her own.
Hey, Paul, I downloaded that paper and I linked you in the chat, tagged you in the chat with it.
Okay, cool. Well, can you DM me directly? Because I would like to look at it.
Yeah, I'll just DM you. Okay.
So what happened to Ranty, guys? Have you guys talked to him or
I'm sorry. Is that a refraction paper?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah,
But that's the
yeah,
one he posted. Yeah.
I'll DM you too, Travis.
Thanks.
Ranty ran away. That's what happened to Ranty.
He's not in the scene in the arena anymore.
Nope. He left here. He left Gems. All the places where we had access to him to ask him questions. He seems to have left.
I heard Bev's Try Thinking channel was going over a thing with Ranty talking. He must have been like commentating on a video Ranty did.
Yeah, he gave us credentials. Gave us
That shit was hilarious. Yo,
his
that was so
credentials,
funny.
his 1, 2, 3 principle. We got Ranty's law now.
That shit was hilarious.
He probably realized that he messed up. He was too late to come back. Maybe.
By the way, Bev has challenged him. Try Thinking. Bev has challenged Ranty. Face out one-on-one. But he's too chicken.
Well, Ranty and I are going to debate next week.
Sorry,
What was that,
Brandon?
Brandon?
Randy and I are going to debate sometime next week. Sometime in the
No
next few
way.
days.
In this channel?
Oh yeah. Yeah, I'll
Where?
broadcast it on this channel too. I don't know. Trying to get as big as audience as I can because I'm gonna fucking crush them.
Oh, this is
Bro,
gonna
what
be
do you got?
beautiful.
Hold on, are you in like a field of crickets right now, Brandon?
Yeah,
Right.
I'm sitting out in my garage. Are they that loud? Fuck.
Yeah, we can hear it. I can hear it.
Do you like breed them to feed the reptiles or?
Yeah, no, I am a reptilian person. Remember, you have to be part reptilian in
Oh,
order to
you
be in
eat
the
them.
Illuminati.
You eat
Hey,
them. I
Brandon,
forgot,
did he
yeah.
corner you on any specific subject and exclude anything else?
No. Here's what happened. Okay, so I was talking to Ruhif because I commented on a couple of his videos, and I said, "Hey, you still stand by this?" And I figured out a couple of mistakes that they're making, and that's what I'm going to present during the debate. But he said, "Oh yeah, I'd like to see you try." I said, "Yeah, I could do it." And then Ranty hit me up the next day. I said, I need a picture from an auto level at Blackpool. Go recreate the shot at Blackpool. See, let's see if we can get someone to do it. And then he got Randy involved. And Randy texted me during the show and was like, "Hey, I can have it in 10 days. Can you be ready by then? Because I'm pulling together some presentation material and some shit."
You're going to see the picture with the auto level before you have the debate, or is he going to just spring that on you?
Is that the
He
Winter
gave me
Hill
the
one?
exact coordinates. Huh?
Is that Winter Hill?
Io Man?
I've got the coordinates somewhere. I haven't looked it up yet.
So are you the shot you wanted was from Winter Hill over Blackpool to the Isle of Man?
The same one that what's her face did.
Sandra.
P900.
Yeah.
Cool pics. Yeah.
Cool. Yeah. He offered me that, but he's apparently buying Ranty and Auto Level, so he can go.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah. He's told me.
Deb, you don't have a shot at that?
Dude, you do not take auto levels up mountains. You just don't do it. Right? If somebody does that for Brandon, well done, Brandon. You've made a fool out of them.
Well, yeah, that's what's likely to happen, Bev, because I'm gonna point out the foolishness of that.
Yeah. Cool.
Is that the
See how
same
it goes,
photo
though.
that Chike drew his red line and his eye level line? Is that the photo?
Yes. Yeah, the red.
Oh my
no,
goodness.
It's a different one. I think Ruhif said the eye level was above the actual picture.
Right.
I don't know
Check.
how the fuck that's possible to have a picture with your eye level above the picture, but we'll see. Can anybody
They
wrap
should
their
be
head
right.
around that? How can I show you a picture? It's not cropped.
You could just be pointing the camera down, right? And then the full
Right.
picture would be below your eye level. You'd have to have a pretty severe angle for that, though. You're
Oh,
like,
that's
that'd be
right. Yeah.
that'd be
right.
fucking noticeable. You'd be looking at the ground, though.
That's why I need it from an auto level.
You know that there's a distance that you cannot go over with an auto level, right, Brandon? I'm sure you know that, right?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, like everybody else. So looking at a mountain with an auto level has absolutely no use.
The Globers told me it was 93 million miles was the
Totally stupid.
range on it.
But
The
see,
range
they
on auto
don't
level.
think it's stupid.
They don't. No, they don't think it's stupid. You have B-ball taking 16 miles measurements with an auto level, well, not measurements, observations, whatever, over water and saying so many floors are missing. I mean, ridiculous.
Well, I'll just tell you this. This debate is going to stir some shit up, so I would watch it when it comes around.
Oh, I wouldn't miss it, bro. I can't wait. Nice.
Where are you going to do that at?
Here, it's probably going to be streamed here and somewhere, whoever else on the Glover side hosts it or debate
Yeah.
platform.
Yeah, we haven't nailed down all the logistics yet, but I'm definitely going to restream it here.
Have you nailed down the topics? Because I bet you he's going to put restraints on what you can talk about.
No, I won't accept any restraints. I did that with Bob just to fucking humor him about. It's so stupid. Have you guys watched that? He wanted to talk just about the second platform, not the Horizon, not the buoy, not
Yeah,
anything
that's
else.
what they do. Yeah.
And I was like, Bob, why would we talk about it? And that was the last thing I said, I think, in that discussion was, well, I don't know what the point of all that is. Because he's like, well, it looks like there's 10, 15 missing. And I said, well, how many are supposed to be missing on your model, your ball? He said, oh, about 45, 50. Like, okay, what was the point of this whole discussion? This is so dumb.
So you said next week, right?
Should be, yeah. He said 10 days. He was going to take the picture, so it might be, within the next week or so.
Nice, because I did hear he got an auto level. So wow.
Probably specifically for this, they think that optical drop is.
Sorry,
dead
auto
nuts
level.
evidence.
My bad, Brandon. Auto level. I misspoke. Sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah, he got an auto level. Yeah. They think the optical drop is fucking just 100% bulletproof proof. Randy hasn't thought it through, but that's okay.
Oh my God, you should have heard the video Bev and them were going over with Ranty speaking. It's fucking hilarious.
I listened to that one. That was fucking brutal. You guys were fucking brutal in that. Funny.
Where he debunks the black swan. using
Yeah.
that Blackpool photo.
Yeah.
And the other photo of the freighter that's yet another black swan with a 12-mile observation. It's like,
Yeah, the picture he has that he claims is farther than the black swan, and he doesn't realize that he's going against his own argument. Like he's making an argument for, it's like unbelievable.
You know what? Listening, did you guys watch that little thing they did where him and Katz played pool, and then they sat down at the picnic table outside and had a discussion about what Ranty's life was like in the Flat Earth cult and how it's improved so much. Dude,
He
that was like
fancies
watching
himself
us.
the Messiah now to
Right,
take
he's
away
gonna
all the
save us
bad that
all.
he did. Yeah.
It sounded
Bro,
like something like Scientology or some fucking church would put out. It was so creepy, man. Or the scene where what's his name in Matrix talks to Agent Smith and says he just wants to go back into the Matrix because
The
he wants
steak
to
guy, yeah?
the
the guy
steak.
with the steak.
Yeah.
He's come out
My
of the
favorite
cult.
example.
He's just come out of the cult. He's definitely not joined another one and been influenced by other people. Oh no,
Right.
no,
Definitely
he's free
not.
of that now. Is Ranty?
Oh yeah, definitely. They didn't catch him at his lowest point and manipulate him into joining something else. For sure, that didn't happen.
I mean, I personally think he did it for the money because the Globers are the ones making money in this. And Ranty was, there was a lot of topics about money. He wasn't
He
making
did
up
it for
money
the
with
hair.
channel.
He got his hair back.
Some of my favorite flat Earth arguments are from Ranty. It's funny.
Took some good, pictures and shit. He had some good footage, man.
Yeah, when he did that breakdown of the BBC tower that had to be in line of sight from London to
he
wherever it
stole
was.
that off Level Earth Observer. Don't.
No,
credit
I
Ranty
know,
with
but
that one.
I know he did, but he made it prominent on Oakley's show, and that's where I saw it. And then I went back and looked at the other guy who made it. But the fact that Randy covered that, made graphs, did the whole thing, did all the math, did all the stuff. It's just
Because your microphone went through 3 different phases there. I don't know what happened.
Yeah, I got in the car. Yeah.
I'm pretty new to this argument. I kind of just joined into it maybe around March, and that was right about the time that they came out with the Blackpool photo, and Ranty became a Glober. And I remember every conversation you got into, they were throwing that photo up and they were saying, "Here it is. Here's the proof." But yet, I haven't seen anybody mention that for probably 4 months now. or
We
3
keep
months.
trying. We keep trying. Ranty just doesn't want to look at the bits that we want to point out. He rather play mountains in the background disappearing.
Yep.
Yeah, but I
and
just
we got some devastating bits, but we're waiting.
I mean, I haven't
already
heard
knows,
Glover bring it up.
Ranty knows them. Yes, Bev.
Well, no, I mean, Ranty knows. If you watch that picture where he supposedly debunked the Black Swan, his whole argument is that those pictures he took at flat water you can see from shore to shore, that is proof that there's curvature. It has to be refraction, can't be anything else, because it's a globe and he's on a globe now. So now those pictures that seem to show shore to shore, which do show shore to shore, that's what refraction does. That's Ranty. He cited himself as the source for that information. I'm not joking. I'm not joking.
I know.
You'll
I heard
find
it.
out. Watch it
Yep,
again.
it's the shore to shore. That's the devastation for them, but they haven't realized that yet.
I think maybe someone helped him out in some way.
Absolutely.
Like they really did catch him at his lowest somehow. That's just my kind of pet theory, but
Yeah.
I don't know.
Rufus.
Did you say that he was using his photos and stuff to prove flat Earth? He's now using them as proof for the globe.
Yeah.
You just got to keep an open mind.
Yeah, open your mind. Do 1,
Open
2,
your mind.
3, and you're looking from drop from 2 to 3, and it has to be. That's the Ranty's law.
Yeah. He gave his credentials. Come on, guys.
Yeah, he even shows your channel, Brandon, as a point. Like, it's like, this is all of the stuff that I don't have any ownership of anymore. This is not mine, but this is my work.
You know what's funny? He had messaged me and said, "Hey, I'm going to take myself off." This was right when he was switching to the Globe. He's like, I don't think it's right that I have manager access to the YouTube channel, because I had left it on there. Just it was his channel, so I felt like he should still have access. He was posting little tidbits every now and then, which was kind of irritating because he didn't make it clear it was him and not me. But whatever, I dealt with it. And he messaged me and said, "I'm going to take myself off there. I'm going to post one more thing in like a week." 2 weeks go by. I go, "Well, he's still on there. I don't want him manager on my channel. He's fucking Glober. He's going around talking shit, saying we're tinfoil hat and all this shit." So I took him off. You'll never guess who I heard that from, how it got back to me that he noticed that I did that. I'll give you 3 guesses on who it was that threw it in my face that I didn't say anything to him and took him off the channel. Trish.
Cat?
Queen.
No way.
Yep.
The queen of the trolls, the most disgusting person on the internet. Wow.
And you know what else?
Angry woman.
He used to tell me, she would message him because I was banning her and her sock accounts because she is a nasty fucking person. She's
Yeah.
not allowed. She's
Who is
not
this,
welcome here
Brandon?
at all.
Who?
Queen, Trish.
Trish.
So-
She's at Jim's.
He would come back to me and he'd say, "Hey, I got a message from, I got some feedback from one of the Globe trolls, and you might be losing views because you're banning, Globe trolls and stuff." And it was Trish. She's emailing him in the background saying, "Oh, Brandon's not getting as many views. He's losing fucking subscribers because he's banning me and my fucking troll army socks." It's like,
Good move, bro. She is the
Dude.
most vile. She
I don't
she
need
says
her
it.
around.
She says it. I'm the queen of the trolls. Imagine taking that moniker with pride.
Imagine if I had said, "Oh, you know what? You're right. I need these views. I'll let this horrible, wretched troll hang around just so I have a few more YouTube subscribers and trolls and maybe get a super chat or two." That's fucking disgusting, dude.
Well, the Discord doesn't help, does it? I mean, I say it doesn't help, but you don't really show the Discord chat, so, like, I don't.
No, Queen is a different level.
Yeah,
but,
I know.
Oh,
she's
yeah,
like
she is.
the truly nasty people I ban. There's a kind of a fucking line, but I would put her in that truly nasty category. Like, no one needs her around. She never has ever said anything constructive that I can remember, ever.
And Flatsoy's pointing out that you've got a 32 person limit and you're maxing out on this bit.
Oh, on the Discord? No, it's,
Yeah, we're in the
40.
general, not show channel.
Oh, we're in the general. Oh, I'll raise it.
Why are we in the general?
Anyway, there's a little behind the scenes shit for you, just so you know the kind of shit that goes on.
And not to deviate the conversation, but there's a guy named Sergeant Barkley. He claims to be a Marine veteran sniper. I'm trying to get a hold of him to see if he will have a conversation with you, Brandon. You may want to talk to him. He's got some great information. Talks about reticles and all that stuff and Coriolis, and that he did not take an account for that he's a pretty decent guy, and he's pretty helpful. So
Yeah,
I'm gonna
that'd
try
be
to get
great,
hold-
man.
Yeah, I sent him an invite link. He doesn't get on very often. Kiwi knows who he is. He has had conversations with him, and Huey pretty much checks him out. So you might want to add that to the like a live stream or something, right? For like, you know, archives or something.
Who's
Yeah,
that guy
no,
that came in?
do a
I'm
one-on-one
sorry.
with him. Yeah, put him in touch with me because I've looked in that Coriolis and all that drop that they say is happening pretty deep. So
All Rumpus could tell him was, well, you obviously weren't a long-range sniper.
Right? Rumpus, man, wow. That was funny.
With the
Yeah,
amount
so-
of refraction that's happening, in Coriolis and all these factors, I can't believe they hit anything on their first shot ever. Like, you'd find the Navy missing all the fucking time. All their first shots, they wouldn't know where to hit because they'd have to do crazy refraction calculations. They're that close to the water. I don't know.
Wasn't there a guy that was artillery guy on there too, Don, a few days ago? Said the same thing.
Yeah, I think it was Sergeant Barkley though. Didn't you
I thought
talk
there
to
was
him?
another guy. I did briefly, but I thought there was an artillery guy that was besides him on there too.
Oh
talking
yeah, I
about there
think
was-
so as well. Yeah, I think there was another one. Yep. I think
But
he
then-
was in the
then-
army though.
Right, but I mean, he said even in artillery they didn't count for it.
Yep, he did. Yeah, but this guy's a Marine sniper. Claims to be a Marine sniper, which now that would be an awesome conversation.
Seriously, is it not a mystery to anyone else how the Navy ever hits anything on their first shot? Or are they constantly missing? Is that actually what happens? They're always missing on their first shot and then they adjust.
I think you have to go back to like World War II to find, naval engagements, or maybe I guess the Falkland Islands. That was the other one.
Yeah, but they still got to be out there shooting shit down like little buoys or life raft just to make sure their shit works and they can actually hit something. To this day, they do war games and shit.
Right. How often does the battleship, that 16-inch cannon, right? How often do they miss? I would like to know that. I would like to ask somebody.
Would have to go off line of sight weapons. You know what I mean? You got to be shooting line of sight, so like to make the refraction and everything have to come into account.
I think that bullet is like a ton, right? And it travels up to about 25 miles.
Yeah,
That'd
they
be a lot of-
haven't used those battleships for decades. They retired them way back.
They got aircraft carriers now though that claim to own like within 400 miles of the carrier and shit. So that's probably what planes and drones and shit. But yeah, I was just talking about line of sight weapons. Like they got to be missing without you're shooting 3, 4, 5, 6 miles with the line of sight weapon, counting refraction and Coriolis and all that shit. Like there's no way. You'd be missing every time. On your first shot, at least, till you adjusted.
Not only the Coriolis, you got to take account into the curve, their fantasy curve. You got a line of sight weapon, it ain't good for very far.
Well, you got the ESSM one that QE does.
Block 1, yeah. The ESSM Block 1 Sea Sparrow missile. Yep. Good example.
But that's, I don't know, I've lost that art. I don't want to say I've lost it, but I've come to a point where they just claim that it's getting lazed by somebody
See, there's a
off
problem
off
with that
the ship
argument.
or-
The problem is, Jeremy, I tried to find confirmed kills of that distance, and they're classified. So we got a line of sight targeting system weapon that could target 25 kilometers and further, but we don't have confirmed kills. So, yeah.
Well, that Sergeant Barkley guy was talking about another laser targeting system that he talked about that was on one of those ships that could, I believe he said 40 miles.
Yeah, that's the unclass. Maybe we're talking about the same thing.
Yeah.
with a line of sight weapon though, where it has to be getting lazed from the place where the gun is. You know what I'm saying?
From
Right,
the deck of the ship.
The laser's the target designator.
Yeah, but you got to understand there's two things here now. You can have what they have now. There could be a Marine, a Ranger on a mountainside
field.
and
Yeah.
lasing something. That's not what we're talking about. We're talking about from the boat.
I know, but there's some weird wording in there where it says, I'm telling you, they've brought this up and I've looked at it on the site. There's weird wording in there that indicates that it might be getting lased from somewhere else on the Sea Sparrow.
No, I've
don't know.
done
I'd have
research
to
on
look
this,
over
bro. No, not the Block 1. Not the Block 1. That is the target acquisition system, which is a pencil beam radar, is on the boat. That's a fact.
Yeah.
That's a fact. So
yeah,
in order
it might have been getting switched up or something. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, so in order for that weapon to acquire the target, final destination, that laser has to be pointed on it. That's why they call it paint the target. It's not a GPS coordinate. It's not a maybe this, maybe that. The missile looks for that laser. If it doesn't see it, it cannot hit it.
Don't you know that gravity makes the laser bend the curve?
But if you're lagging a robot, well, said something about gravity and
Gravity pulls the pencil beam around the curve.
that could that.
Yeah,
yeah.
sure.
I'm surprised they didn't use that one yet.
I haven't heard that one yet, so that's a good
Well,
one.
they say that when we're doing laser shots though, and we're seeing we're seeing the laser too far. They're like, "Yo, it's bending over the curve of Earth." They've said it before, just not with that.
Yeah, they'll make up any old thing, but line of sight is line of sight, and that's it. You can't change it.
I'm telling you, when they're using it, go ahead.
No, we're just gonna say if you can't see it, you can't kill it. Simple.
Well, they like to say that they're making straight lines when they use a sextant or anything else where they need a straight line for. They'll say, "Oh, it's close enough," or "It is a straight line." But then, if you want to take it to something where we see too far, they're like, "No, it's not close enough. That's not a straight line. Like it's just double speaking."
They don't mean it's line of sight given or due to atmospheric refractions of that day. Then you can fire the weapon.
Am I coming through?
Yeah, that's better.
Yeah, but don't you know that gravity makes laser bend with the curve? That's how you can touch it with the laser.
Cool story, bro. You can't have it both ways, you know?
They want it both. They want it both ways, though. Yeah. They want to be able to make straight lines whenever they want, and then say they're not when they don't want them.
Oh, yeah, you should hear them double speak. When they come over to next level, we'll start off with, okay, let's keep this simple now, right? We'll go with the law. We'll go with the law of non-contradiction. Agreed? Agreed. Okay. Then we say, okay, what is a straight line? And it doesn't go past that, Jeremy.
Yeah, no, I know. I watch you guys. I listen to you guys over there on YouTube on Bev's channel.
And we're crazy. Not them,
Yeah.
we're crazy.
That was great. That was pretty great. With Howdy, Bev, walking Howdy through it. I found that quite hilarious.
Oh, yeah,
Vinny-
they've really exposed him, yeah.
Bro, we had
It was
one
funny 'cause-
weirdo.
Go ahead.
Go ahead. Yeah. No, I was
Yeah,
gonna say,
it was
well,
funny.
go ahead.
It's funny because he came running over to Flat Earth Science versus Pseudoscience, claiming that flat earthers or whatever he wants to use. We don't know geometry. Why you guys need to learn geometry? It looks like you're willing to learn. That's his go-to argument.
That's that slight insult debate tactic. Listen, that guy, the Gambino that was here earlier, is very good at shit like that. Kosho's good. Gambino's real good. Rocky had caught it.
It's very manipulative. It's very like a condescending way.
Yeah.
Yeah, they try to insult your intelligence, your education, your knowledge, meanwhile offering nothing, not answering a simple question. Like the guy with a straight line, right?
Yeah, that was funny. Oh man.
Like, how could you not understand? You have a pendulum, you tie a rope to it or a fishing line, right? You got a plumb bob, and you got a straight line. How could you not understand that? How?
No, they'll take the simple. It's part of their tactic. They'll take the simplest thing and make it seem like it's real complicated, or they don't understand when everyone else is following along. You know what I mean?
All right, Bev hitting with the non-contradiction. That was great. Right on key.
Yeah.
Oh, Brenda had a nice contradiction in her last Numpty clip. She says so much ridiculous shit. I'm surprised they haven't ostracized her from the fucking Globe community yet.
You talking about that Trish or that Queen of Trolls or whatever?
Oh no, I was talking about Brenda's last Numpty clip. Contradicting
yeah,
herself.
Brenda. Yeah, right.
We got George Hanatuck doing it. George said the bullet does spin under the Earth does spin under the bullet, and the Earth doesn't. Like, they just say whatever they need in the moment to win, to make themselves try to win the argument.
Really? Spins under the Earth spins. Okay, so why not a drone?
We got them saying both. So what do you go off of at that point? The Earth does or doesn't. Like, it's like.
You heard the clip I have where not Kosho, what's his name?
Zanuck
says it does it both.
I was right there with you, Matt. I was in DMs with you laughing about it.
You were there, yeah, that's right. Yeah.
No, I didn't hear it. It's in the clip. Oh, listen.
Oh God!
I'm gonna post it. Let me find it and post it.
We had him bugging. Go ahead.
Oh, was that writing that did the same thing? Like Data got him to say, was asking him, does the Earth turn underneath the airplanes? Yes or no? And then he said yes and no.
All in one sentence.
Yes.
That's awesome. That's the fastest one ever. Yes and no. There you go. Whatever I need it to be at the time, let me know.
I'd like to point out as well, Jeremy, where you were going on about double rodding earlier? Like, you were bang on.
Yeah.
It's a shared straight line segment. That in between those two rods, it's not necessarily at the same height, but it will be parallel. You will be able to see the difference within the numbers, and there won't be any deviance in it. So it shows that the lines are all either shared straight line segments, or they are all parallel shared.
So you'd set up your auto level, put out 3 stakes in front of you, whatever, make sure they're all 5 feet.
No.
And then
you put your pin down, and instead of doing 1 foresight and 1 backside, you do 2 foresights and 2 backsights, and you continue that along the way. It's just double rodding. It's doubling up on the accuracy, but because you're using 2 rods, you get to see that if there's any discrepancy, like within the actual movement every time. It's more labor, but it's more accurate.
Oh no! I felt like I was butchering on Brandon's show one night.
Well, imagine if you could do that with water levels. Use that very principle.
Is that a good point? Like question I ask about the water level with the micrometer on top of it? Like, why would you need, if they're saying it's curving, why would you need to have such an accurate curve to match the curve of Earth they say is happening? You know what I mean?
Well, if you could measure it to that sort of levels, then I mean, how can you not know if it's straight or curved? Do you know? Like, you seriously saying you can have something that's within 50 millionths of an inch and you don't know whether that line's straight or curved? I mean,
that's another good point.
That's a bit fucking ridiculous, that, isn't it?
It's in the physics, though. They call you guys or us physics deniers, but it's in the physics. It's hydrostatic equilibrium, and that water connected at rest is horizontal at all points across that water level. All points it's horizontal.
Hey, Bev,
I hear that.
Bev, do you use the rod where it has the red that indicates feet? Like you have a bigger number and smaller numbers?
No, all of mine are metric.
Oh, metric. You use the Stata hairs too, right? You know what I'm talking about?
The study of hers within the scope.
Yes, right. Is that what you're talking about when it goes, you can measure it going below?
What going below?
The change in altitude or elevation. They'll be calculating the Stata hairs, right?
No, the study of hairs are for stadiometric range finding. They just
right. Okay.
Yeah, not elevation.
You get an approximate distance on something with those.
Well, it's pretty exact, really. You know, well.
Oh, all right.
Yeah, you can be close enough. I mean, it depends. You wouldn't actually use it for a measurement distance, but you know, if you wanted to be so far out, you know, you can get there near enough. I mean, when we go out with the auto level, you could do it yourself. Like we've been out there on the beach, measuring wheel and the rod. You can look through the camera on the Discord and measure it yourself, and then see whether you're the same distance as I'm reading on the wheel. I mean, we've been out there doing that sort of stuff, testing it.
Right. I think the best one is when you guys were in the valley.
In the valley?
Yeah, it was like under 200 feet under sea level?
No, not us. You might be thinking of somebody else.
No, I have to find it.
We were showing a video once, I think, of that place there. I forget what place. I think I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
That was the best one. I like that one. That was amazing.
Wasn't it Brandon that did that? I remember seeing it either in Brandon's or in Bev's.
What's that?
Next level.
What? Sorry.
200
Did you show a place where it's like 200 feet below sea level?
I don't remember.
So it must have been in Bev's then.
It could have been mine.
Somebody brought it up.
Shit.
I can't even remember it.
I have to find it.
Yeah, there's a place, there's a plaque, a wooden plaque, I think, engraved.
Yep.
Yeah, I remember it, yeah.
I think it was where, I don't know if it was you, Bev, but where your feet was missing and you're kicking your feet out.
Oh, you mean we was actually
that one?
He means the drop
at the beach.
Yeah.
That wasn't.
Yeah.
That wasn't below sea level.
Are you sure that wasn't the one?
I was at the beach.
Yeah, they set it up at a 0 point, and then he just kept walking, and we watched the
right
the rod. You know, where we saw how far you could read the numbers, and it wasn't that far out. But then he kept going and going to the shoreline.
And I got my head underneath the true horizon.
Horizon.
How,
That was awesome.
how'd you do
wild.
that? How's that happen?
I don't know. That's the best one right there.
How are you meant to get
That was good.
over the horizon if you can go underneath it? It's a bit weird, isn't it? Might not be what you're thinking.
We never did get any answers for that. Nobody ever took it on.
No.
Not one person wanted to talk about that.
Trying to show people how the auto level works. Crosshairs were in the picture all the time.
It was neat watching DP did the 2-peg test, and it was neat. We worked out the stadia hair distance.
So it could have been Death Valley. It's 282 feet below sea level.
There you go. I think that's probably what it was. Yeah.
You just said it was me at the beach kicking my legs up.
No, I was talking about a different video. I was talking about something else then. We were having a discussion a while back about that place.
That was just a test because when we went there originally to take the pictures of when Ranty found that picture on Facebook and I went there to go, there's something wrong with the lighting of Blackpool there, and I took the picture. When I went there, I looked and I said, wow, I bet I could get my head underneath that horizon in the view of an auto level. So we went there and we did that. So that was one of our challenges for the team, to have a laugh on the day out.
And they have no response for that.
Nobody's ever said anything about it. I don't think anybody can understand what's going on. I think it's some sort of a camera trick or something.
What are you talking about, Bev? You went on Jose's about it.
What about when we went under the horizon?
Yeah, and it was nothing special, and it was said to you then.
Oh, right. I didn't go on Jose.
Oh,
about that.
what do you mean you didn't go on?
No, I can remember Miles Davis was talking about his one.
Oh, so people have spoke to you about it then? Okay, thank you.
People have spoke to us about it. Go on, what did you say then? What was your answer to it then?
I'm just pointing out some of your lies, Bev.
What lies? Sorry.
Yes, Bev.
We got underneath the horizon, right? Was that the lie?
No, the lie where you're saying no one spoke to you about it.
What do you mean no?
That's not what he said. Nobody has
Very
an
nicely
explanation.
done there, Gary.
He didn't say that.
That's brilliant.
He did not say that at all. He said
He's saying
no
that
one has
no
an-
one has said anything back to him, but they
There
have.
is no
When he went on Jose's and
explanation.
he spoke about it.
Listen,
Don.
no, don't put words in his mouth, dude.
I'm not putting
He's-
words in his mouth. He's
Yes,
just
you
lying
are.
to you guys.
No, there's no explanation to what is going on there.
There's nothing special going on there to explain, Don.
Oh, wow.
So
you're
you
saying-
came on and you said absolutely nothing. You just questioned Bev and you
No,
made no.
I'm pointing out where
no
Bev has
statement.
lied yet again.
No, he did not lie. You're
Of course
lying.
he's lied. He's been on Jose's to talk about it. And he's saying here no one's had anything to say to him on this matter.
No explanation
Very
to what's
dramatic.
going on.
Yeah, there you go.
Maybe rewind the tape.
He's already had it. I'm telling you, he went on Jose's and it
What's
was
your
written.
explanation, Gary? Please give us your
Gary.
explanation of it.
My point is that Bev's lying. That's all the point I'm making.
That's all you came to say. Okay.
Lying about getting under the horizon?
Or make a statement about it.
Just like right
No,
now, you're instead of addressing the point, you're just talking.
Are you
nonsense.
guys not listening to the point I'm making? The point I'm making is very simple.
Who
He's
cares?
selling lies.
Defend make a
Okay,
statement.
tell him
or-
why, which is it? What's your rebuttal to his point?
I've already said. I'm just pointing out the lies.
So you have no rebuttal. Okay, thank you.
You can you can take that away if you want, Montreal.
That's exactly how I'm taking it. You just came in to insult somebody. That's all you did, and that
It's
exactly
not an
what you
insult.
said that
How
you
is,
trolls do.
how is it an insult to correct him on his lies?
See, this is what we have to deal with, guys.
Exactly.
If you're
Yeah,
if
you
you're
just
recording,
have to
Brandon,
listen to
listen,
liars
quiet,
all the time.
quiet. Brandon, if you're recording, see for the YouTube, if you're recording, this is this is what it resorts to. These Globers. This is what it resorts comes
Tell
down
the
to.
truth. That's damn right, Don.
No, they have no argument. They have no argument. All they got is ad homs.
The argument is there to be had when I'm claiming he lied. And the point being, he went on Jose's to talk about it. And there was
Okay,
a panel
let's say
on
he
there
lied. Let's
talking
assume
about
which
it.
is not true. What is your counter argument to his claim of the horizon? Please go ahead.
There's nothing special.
Don't insult. Don't
There's
say he
nothing
lied.
special about what he's doing. He's presenting
is
nothing.
your-
He's just saying, look at this picture I have. Yeah, there's loads of pictures with people below the horizon. So what?
Well, you guys say
Uh-oh.
things disappear from the bottom up because of curve. That's your claim.
The point being made is that Bev has no point. It's completely vacuous what he's saying.
I heard him speak
That's
about
what I
it
said.
many, many
The
times.
point
Just
that
a
I was
minute.
making is that he's lied to you when he's saying that
I
no one said
said-
anything to him.
I said that I could get
Hold on.
underneath the horizon, right? I
Oh,
did.
that only means
It was
people can.
fully documented and filmed by many people.
Loads of
They
people can,
watched
it's
it
not
live. What is
Man,
the
look at
lie, please, Gary?
That only means that you don't understand what the argument is. When you say that there's nothing
That's no point
special
to
about
make is
that
the
picture.
point.
But you don't understand. Why are you trying to argue?
Enlighten me, man. Tell me.
All right,
Teach me.
explain what is supposed to be
No,
happening.
you teach me. I've got it
no,
all
no,
wrong.
so that we know
I've
that
got it
you
all wrong,
understand,
man.
right?
Tell me. Make me a learned
It
person
still
on the
meant our
matter.
argument. It still meant the argument, and we'll see.
No, I don't need to
But what's-
steal man your argument. You need to make a fucking point.
Okay, the point, Gary, is can you explain it? What's the explanation for that phenomenon?
It's really very easy. It depends on your camera angle, right? You look down and you have something close, it can appear below the horizon.
It's an auto level,
The
Gary.
point is, there's
Auto
no
level.
point.
What angle is
There's
it at?
no point. Oh, come on, Bev. You mean when you're walking down to the beachfront down a hill? That's not you going down. And this is besides the point. You said that no one had ever said anything to you on the matter when you've been on a stream to talk about it.
Man, you're
Again, my point
Wow.
was
He
you're
said
a liar.
nobody's got
My
an
second point is,
explanation,
you have
Gary,
no point
and
to
you've
make.
proved that by not giving us your explanation of what happened.
What? You walking down a hill, appearing below the horizon, below eye level? There's nothing special, Bev.
The water behind us, the true horizon, was the water level, the horizon. Right now, I
eye level.
walked
The
down a
level-
beach. I was
You
above
walking
the
down a
horizon,
hill-
and then I carried
you
on
walking down a
walking,
hill, Bev.
and
There's nothing
I was
special there.
under
You let him finish
the
his sentence,
horizon.
dude.
You've been begging for me to say something, and now I'm saying it. I have to be blotted out.
Just so you
Just
know.
one at a time.
Go down another hill, Bev.
Go
What
ahead,
is the
Bev.
height above sea level?
Bev,
What is the
explain
height
it.
above sea
Tell
level?
him again. The horizon is the water. Water.
And Bev is walking down the hill to the beachfront.
And
He
the
is below.
Is the
water
point Bev's
goes
making?
above my head. How does that happen,
Because you're
Gary?
walking down a hill.
Does water not
From
flow
your
down
water
the
level is
hill?
set up. As I said, you have no point to make, and then you're lying that no one has said anything to you about it.
Lying that nobody's given us a valid explanation about it, which you've just
Oh, no, he
proved.
gave
No,
it-
now
you
you're
haven't.
changing it. That's moved the goalpost.
No,
Bev.
that's
gave
what he
a-
originally said,
I'm
Gary.
making it very clear.
He gave a
That's
great
what-
point. He said he walked downhill, but the water's still over his head. So I mean, damn.
Well, that's
Yeah.
because you don't understand anything, Buster. You should stick to singing.
Oh,
wants to
thanks,
know?
thanks for that.
Well, airplanes can fly at
Just
big
a
speeds.
silly question. If you're at the Dead Sea
Airplanes can
and
fly
you're
at big
1,350
speeds.
feet below sea level, you're a bit
Tallest
fucked for
mountain
seeing
in
the
the
horizon.
Hold on, Democ, you got Dross muted or something? Something's going on.
No, is he saying something important?
I mean, he's Bit
I was trying to.
but let him finish.
No, I wasn't being global or flat. I was just making a point that, you know, the horizon, sea level, can be above your eye line or below it. You know, we can see that it's observable. And what the example I was just going to use, if you're in the near the Dead Sea, the sea level
There's
is
no need for you to
1,300
put
feet.
makeup on, dude. You're all right.
Okay, I'm just going to mute you. Okay, so
Makes a lot of stuff up.
Just let him
you'll
finish,
be,
guys.
you'll be 1,350 feet below sea level.
Cool story.
That's a fact, mate.
Did you look at my picture? How far can we walk up your walls?
I've put the actual picture of us underneath the horizon. You can have a look at it. Decide for
I put a
yourself.
picture of everybody walking on walls and standing on the top of buildings and the sides of them too on this globe. Did
Why are the
anybody
buildings
take a look at
sideways?
that?
If you enjoyed the content, please support On the Level and future projects. Membership subscriptions available now, or come and get involved at Next Level Discord server. Thank you.